Good afternoon, good evening from wherever you may be watching or listening to me from. My name is AyoT, and this is the Naija FC podcast on Eagles Tracker, the home of Nigerian football. This is the podcast where we bring you our raw, honest, unfiltered opinions on all the hottest and latest topics in the world of Nigerian football. And we are back after the thrills of the Africa Cup of Nations 2025, where the Super Eagles return with a bronze medal. We are back to our regularly scheduled programming. The Niger FC podcast is back and is going to be better in 2026. I can tell you that. As always, like I already mentioned, my name is AyoT. And once again, I have my co-host returning for another fantastic year. We have Mr. Smith Layi. Smith Layi, welcome.
Yeah, another year. And this actually was it's been very eventful last year. Glad to be back again. Apologies for being late. It's just because of the time difference. I have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
go do some few things.
I already told them that you have fatherly duties. Me, I'm a bachelor, so if I stand up,
I
nobody
have
will
to
hold
see.
me.
Yeah, I have to see. I get some few things, and yeah, glad to be back again after
And
the
you're rocking your
period.
Niger 96
Yeah,
release.
yeah, 96. Yeah, yeah.
You know. Look, I've not yet bought that jersey. If my birthday is coming up, if anybody wants to get it for my birthday, I will appreciate it. That Niger 96 jersey, and the stadium jacket as well. That one they're not selling
Yeah,
it in
that's
Canada.
very good.
They're not selling it in Canada.
Very
I
good.
wanted to buy it, but they're not selling it. But if you want to ship it to me from the UK, anybody look, I'll take it. I'll take it. But yes, like we are back on
Yeah,
the Niger FC podcast. A lot of people have already been saying that they've missed the podcast, But of
yeah,
course, the AFCON took us off our course a little bit. I was really diving deep into the AFCON content, the post-match shows, and everything in between. Of course, Midlai was doing his thing on gun football
yeah.
as well. But now we are locked in for another fantastic year of the Niger FC podcast. On today's show, we're going to be talking about the January transfer window. A number of transfers have already happened, some big, some small, some with male players, some with female players. We'll dive into that. We might not go deep into every single transfer, but we'll talk about a fair few of them. And then, of course, we'll do our AFCON review, our roundup, the Super Eagles performance at the AFCON. What do we think? We'll talk about the AFCON final as well. That was one of the craziest finals, if not at least since I've been watching AFCON, probably the craziest final in terms of everything that happened. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Morocco as well, all the things that they did. And of course, the fact that they're going to host the World Cup, co-host the World Cup in 2030. What is the impact of everything that happened at the tournament? We will get into all of that. But let us start with the transfer window, just because we've not really talked about anything that has been happening outside of the AFCON in the past few weeks. The transfer window. Smith, like we've had a fair few transfers. I think I'll start with three of the female transfers and then we'll get into the male players. I'll start with Nicole Payne. Nicole Payne, the 24-year-old Super Falcons defender, she has just joined Orlando Pride on a one-year deal in the NWSL. Of course, Nicole Payne is a player that has just recovered from an ACL injury, her second ACL injury in her career at 24, which is a bit crazy, unfortunate, very sad. But she has recovered and she has now signed with one of the top teams in the NWSL. So, your thoughts on Nicole Payne joining Orlando Pride?
Good, good. I remember when I think she joined PSG a couple of years ago too. Fantastic player. She's just been unlucky with injury, and that injury too also affecting her Super Falcon chances too. So, but for her, I think she's very fortunate. I will say that because she keep on getting those clubs. Now Orlando Pride again, one of the best clubs in America. So for me, I think it's a very, very good move for her. I just hope that she can be injury free because at 24, two ACL, it reminds me of a particular player in the national team. So, it's not easy. I know. Injury is crazy. And injury can happen anytime, You can even be jogging and everything. You can Capri Jet and AFCON final, just warming up, you got injured straight away. So I wish I had the very best of luck. Fantastic player because we need a backup for that Michelle Alozier's position. And Nico Payne can do a very good job.
Yeah. It's definitely a good move. I'm happy for her. Again, it's just unfortunate, when a player seems to have the talent, obvious talent,
Mhm.
so people keep taking the chance on you. But also, just unfortunately for her, keeps on getting injured, injury after injury. Is very unfortunate. She's such a nice girl. I've interviewed her in the past. I've spoken to her even offline as well. And she's a nice girl, good player, pacey. I wonder how pacey she is now with all the injuries. But she has that skill, and I'm just happy to see her back with a side. I think you can tell that maybe they are not too sure. That's why they only gave her a 1 year deal to see how she would settle. But I'm really, really hoping that it goes very well for her. I'm hoping that she has a big 2026 season, and then hopefully she can either stay with them or get a more settled, situation. But yeah, shout out to Nicole Payne, and looking forward to watching her in 2026, both with her club and potentially back with the Super Falcons. The AFCON is coming up in March. That might be too soon for her to return to the team, but maybe sometime later in the year we would see her as part of the Super Falcons squad yet again. Okay, let us talk about another woman. This time we'll talk about a player that a lot of people believed should have been crowned the African best player, a player that a lot of people believe should have been crowned the MVP of the last AFCON. I'm talking about Esther Okoronkwo. Esther Okoronkwo has re-signed with AFC Toronto in the Canadian Northern Super League. A lot of people thought that Esther Okoronkwo might be taking her talents to Europe, back to Europe. She's been there before. Or she might be going, maybe taking a step up to the NWSL, because some of the players from the Canadian League were getting signed for NWSL clubs. But she has decided to resign with AFC Toronto. Smith Layi, your thoughts on this one?
So I don't understand that move. For me, I think that she needs to get to a stage that she needs to challenge herself. These are peak years, in football, and you have to make sure that you make it count. We discussed before, that remember, talking offline that she already had grown this Canadian league, so there needs to be like a new challenge for her. But that she's Madam Cash. Maybe there's a lot of money, I know what you see her now with her very favorite friend, counting money for people. She's Madam Cash. Maybe probably she likes to be in that area, and maybe so thinking that, okay, come on, I have a very good team. I have a good team looking after me very well. Why is it? So for me, I just think that that'd be very good for her to move outside Canada and challenge very well. She will, her playing in Canadian League, I don't think she can win the Player of the Year. African Player of the Year. There, it's very, very difficult. But I wish her the very best of luck. But for me, it is a wrong move.
I think I agree with a lot of the sentiments. I also was one of the people that thought, okay, maybe this might be a chance for her to make a step up to a bigger league. In the Northern Super League in Canada, like, look, I live here. I've gone to watch games. I watched her play when she came to play in my city. It's not the highest level of competition. The league is filled with a lot of young players that are coming up and old players that are on the way out. People that are at their peak. This is probably not the league for them, because again, this is only going to be the second year of the league, and she has signed the contract until 2027. So that's 2 years. Not that she can't leave, but she's committed for the next 2 years, which by the time she's done, she will be 29, 30. She'll be 29 this year. She'll be 30 by the time she's leaving. And obviously, most of the time at 30, you're no longer as great as you were when you were 26, 27, So it was a bit of a surprising one. But, you mentioned cash. The reality of it is that the Northern Super League is not some cash heavy league. Like, I mean, if she's one of... So here's even the interesting thing. I know that she got a lot of noise in Nigeria last time. She did get plaudits in Canada as well. But she wasn't... When they did all the awards, she wasn't one of the award contenders in the league. The reality of it is that she caught fire from the WAFCON, and after the WAFCON, she caught fire. But there were players that had balled consistently throughout the league. I think even in her team, maybe she was the third highest goal scorer in her team. I think she had the most assists or second most assists in her team. So she did quite well. But in general, she did not blow the league out the park. And of course, her team, AFC Toronto, after being the best team in the league throughout the regular season, in the playoffs, they went and lost in the final of the playoffs. So it didn't end great for them. But for me, another thing that I thought of, again, forget money now, I don't know her situation, but I was also thinking maybe it is a play so that she can stay in Canada even after she's done playing football. Because with professional athletes, they have a faster path to becoming permanent residents, to becoming Canadian citizens. But obviously, you cannot play 1 year and they'll give you passports. You cannot just be. I think after one more season, she would be able to apply for residency,
Mm-hmm.
and after that, she'll be able to apply for citizenship.
Yeah.
So that could also, again, I'm guessing, I don't know, I should not tell me this, but that could also be a reason why she's like, you know what? Yeah, so I feel go somewhere else and be in a spotlight. But by the time I leave that spotlight now, what will happen? Will I go back to Abia State, or will I go back to Lagos State? So she might
Mm-hmm.
be looking at it that, okay, what I need to do is come to Canada, get my papers here in Canada, and
Mm-hmm.
anything that happens in the future happens. Because again, European players, don't really have to think about all these things, but these are things that African players think about. This is why some people stay in England for their whole life. These are some
Yeah.
people, they go to one country in France, Germany, they don't leave because they want to secure their future. I don't know if she's American. I know that she went to school in America, but obviously the American immigration, I mean, is a lot easier than Nigerian immigration.
The American is not reliable now.
Is I don't know if she's an American citizen. She only went to America for school. Look, I don't see. That's a good question. Look, I don't know. Did she move to America as a child and she became, because her story is she went to high school in America, so she might be an American citizen by now. Look, I don't know. Maybe she is, maybe she isn't. But
Mm-hmm.
we know that
And those are just so good to the American citizen
she
because
might she might be an American citizen. I
she
mean,
might be. She might
if she
be.
went there since school. But I also know people that went to America since school that that are not American citizens, yet.
Yeah.
Look, I really don't know, but that's just a thought that came to my head. Like maybe it could be a thing of, okay, let her get papers. Somebody say if she has a passport, yes, she is. Duh. Do you know if she has a passport? That's the question.
You know.
Obviously, if she has a passport, she's a citizen. But do you know if she has the passport? But she might be an American citizen. I really don't know. That again, I was just making a
Yeah.
random guess. You know, but yeah, maybe she's an American citizen already, and she just really wants to stay. She likes it. I'm not complaining. Me, I'll go and watch her when she's playing. But
Mm-hmm.
it was just a thought that it would have been nice for her to go to a bigger league. Okay, but let's
Yeah.
move on. Let's talk about one more Super Falcons player. In fact, Esther Okoronkwo's best friend, Michelle Chinwendu Alozie. Her name is Chinwendu, if I'm not mistaken. I think so. Yeah, Alozie.
Yeah.
Michelle Alozie has joined Chicago Stars, still in America, still in the NWSL. She has left Houston and now gone to a much colder city in Chicago. She has signed a long-term contract. I believe it's 3-year agreement that she signed a contract until 2028, so 2 years rather, not 3 years. And yeah, she's hoping to be able to stake more of a claim in Chicago. Be a regular, play more often, and of course keep building herself in the Super Falcons as well. So, like, what do you think of this transfer, Michelle Alozie to
Good,
Chicago?
good move. Good move. She wasn't getting enough playing time in Austin. That so I think that is no, it's still in America just to try and prioritize. Maybe probably there's assurance of game time. Maybe she go play in a favorite position. Maybe there's a relationship with the coach there and things like that. For me, I think it's actually was a very good move because at some point he wasn't getting enough playing time in Austin. That so you don't you don't expect her to just stay there. So for me, I think it's probably actually what a good and with the AFCON too, around the corner and also the World Cup, potentially the World Cup in 2027. I think it's good for her to be playing, on a regular basis. So maybe she's gonna be our number 9, or you never know. She's gonna be playing there because she seems to be utility player. Let's see exactly how things pans out. But I'm bet that she's going to a different environment. Maybe probably to get more playing time.
Yeah. A player like Michelle, I'm never expecting her to leave the USA. Of course, if she's joining another club, she's going to stay in the USA. USA is also good for her brand. She's quite popular in the USA for a lot of the work that she does off the field as well. Michelle is one of those players that, like, she's intentional about, like, her look, her lifestyle, those kinds of things, the people that she hangs out with. She likes the spotlight. She likes being a star. I'll put it that way. So it makes sense that she's joining Chicago Stars. But I would also just point out that Chicago Stars is the worst team in the NWSL.
Mm-hmm.
Not to take anything away. They were the worst team last year. Not like they're the worst team every single year, but they were the
Mm-hmm.
worst team last year. But this also could mean that she has a better chance of being a starter, of being a regular,
Yeah.
of being a key player. So it's really going to be interesting to see how things turn out for her. She's now going to be teammates with Ludmila, who is obviously a Brazilian, I don't know if I call
Yeah,
her legend, but well-known female footballer.
Brazilian.
And it could be interesting, for the Super Falcons. I think she's stamped as a defender for the Super Falcons because
Yeah.
our attacking quality, she really cannot compete with the people that play in attack for us. But at least for her club, she can be doing her thing. She can be getting
I
into the
think that
spotlight.
thing.
And hopefully she has a good season because Michelle is one of those players that for her club with Houston Dash, she's never really been great. In fact, she's even to say she's been good is already kind of stretching it a
Yeah.
little bit. But she has always turned up for the Super Falcons and done a job. So I'm really hoping that her club career can potentially match her national career as well. So yeah, shout out to Michelle Alozie, wishing you all the best in Chicago. If you live in Chicago, be going to watch her games one time. When she sees your Nigeria flag, she'll come and greet you. So just
I know.
we're going to watch her games every now and then. Okay, let's move over to the men and talk about transfers that have happened with the men. I'll start from a player that we've spoken about 2025. If I could go back and count the number of times to talk about this player, I feel past 10 or 15, and he has finally made a move. Not the move that we were talking about for the past 2 years, but a move nonetheless. I'm talking about Rafael Durosimi. Rafael Durosimi has joined Pisa Sports Club in the Italian Serie A. Of course, he's teaming up with Ebenezer Akinsomiru, Super Eagles player. And he has already scored a goal on his debut, came off the bench, scored a goal to help them get a draw, won the man of the match award. It's been like Durosimi, we thought he was maybe going to Germany, joining Stuttgart, joining Frankfurt. We heard all sorts of things. We knew that injuries messed him up at some point. But now that he has joined Pisa, what do you think of this move? And, scoring on his debut, what do you think about that as well?
For me, I think it was probably a money move because it was only Peter that was ready to pay around 9.5 million euros for him. So other clubs were not ready to take that gamble. And the player has been playing in Czech Republic for how many years now? So I think Peter, is he Apato Gidadino? I don't know if he has the coach of Peter. I think he is the one that is probably actually what, they say the coach of Peter is the one that is really interested in him. Let's see exactly how he works well for him. I realized that it was lively in the game against Atlanta. And, Syria can be like that for you. Gift Orban was also very lively when he made his debut. So, but you have to, he needs to actually stay consistent because the way it is now, it's like Pizza might probably be heading down to the Serie B if they're not, if results don't change. So, if you want to stay in the top flight, you probably need to score those goals. So, and for a 9.5 million euro player, I don't think Pizza will want him to go down, with them. They want to make money, on him because it's just a very, very tough move. And at least it's going very difficult to ignore him now, national team selection, because for him to be playing in the Serie A, and if he's performing well, I think it's going to be and national team door will knock on national team door very soon. So for me, good move, but I think a move to Frankfurt would have been better, but they were not ready to pay that money.
Yeah. A move to the Serie A is definitely a step up from playing in the Czech First League. We have to see that. So we have to congratulate him on getting that move. He's not a small boy like that anymore, even though he's somebody that a lot of people are just learning about. Durosimi is 23 years old. So at this point, you expect him to be sort of established at a club somewhere and, making things happen for himself as he continues to develop as a player. I'm happy that he scored on his debut. You could see that the coach was very happy for him as well. They want him to do well. The only downside to it is that he's joining a relegation threatening team. And, we often make jokes about why is it that all our players now relegation, then they fight for, So I really hope that Pisa can stay up for his sake and for the sake of Ebenezer Akinsomiru as well. But I'm rooting for him. This is a guy that I like. This is a guy that I think has a bright future. This is a guy that I think is a good player. So I'm really hoping that things go well for him. I'm really hoping that he continues to develop. I'm really hoping that he continues to shine. And if they go down, Smilai, do you think it would be disappointing if he goes down to the Serie B with them?
Yeah, it will be disappointing. If you remember Simeon Wako, when he was scoring, he was painting the Serie A with goals then. We thought that there should be a move to Lazio or to big clubs, But he went to the Serie B. So for me, it's going to be disappointing for a 23-year-old going back to Serie B. So I just think that it's going to be very, very crazy. So in my own opinion, I think it's going to be very disappointing if he could go down with them. There's no shame with Akisamiro. Akisamiro is on loan.
Yeah,
So
but I mean, it's on loan, but it's still on your record that you got relegated.
it was
Yeah, but who cares that much? I know.
this the boy in Chelsea. What's his name again? Your captain.
Delap.
He
No,
was playing what?
captain or Delap.
In Chelsea.
You said the captain, Rich James.
The captain in Chelsea now. Is he not the boy? Is he not Rich James?
Rich James.
The way he was playing for Wigan before. When they were partner education. Now he was playing for Wigan before they brought him there. So you never know now. It's just for him to gain experience. Now that Akisomero playing Serie A, some clubs are really interested in him in that Serie A. So for me, I just think that I think that Durosimi needs to play well to stay in the league. Yeah.
All right, wishing him all the very best. Let's keep going on with the transfers. We're talking about Rafi Durosimi. Let us talk about another player. This one, I've mentioned him quite a bit in 2025. Of course, I did an interview with him. If you haven't watched it, check it out. I'm talking about Chibuike Onwaiwu, 22 years old defender. After joining the Austrian league, Wolfsberger AC, he had a fine time in Austria. He won a cup trophy over there in Austria. And now he has moved to one of the big clubs in Turkey, Trabzonspor. He has signed a contract until June of 2030. Smith Layi, what do you think about this move? Onwaiwu to Trabzonspor?
Good move for him. I thought that he's going to join Club Brugge because Club Brugge was really interested in him. Well, I think Transfer was able to, they can pay the money. For me, I think it's good. It's good for him because we can see him now. I think he's joining the third best club in. Is he third or fourth best club?
Yeah, third right now.
The third right now, what's overall
Overall, probably the
fourth.
third biggest. Yeah, Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, then Trabzonspor.
Besiktas, yeah, maybe probably four. Maybe probably the fourth. So I think they have money. So let's see exactly how he actually what plays and actually what perform well. He's going to be joining someone like Podonachu,
yes,
playing
Tony
together.
Wakeme.
So if he's Tony Wakeme too, is he there?
He's still there.
He's there. He's still there. Okay. Mikel once played for Trabzonspor before, is it?
Yeah.
So on Ukrainian, so for me, it's not a bad club, but you should not see that one as a bus stop. You see, like how it can actually still improving. Yes, stepping stone. He can still improve on that. So I wish him very best of luck. See, the good thing is that he played for him by about 3 or 4 years ago. I've said that there's nobody that played in the local league that will get like a big transfer, but he has proved me wrong. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to mention that Nigerian player now, very soon, that has played in the local league that 2 years ago. So I'm happy for one. You can now see that all those PSG now audio, See, it's good that it's there. If PSG cannot go and carry somebody from Austria, and it's good that it's in Trabzonspor. Let him play well. I mean, probably actually want to move to Germany or to France or to Spain from here.
No, and I mean, Trabzonspor is a good team. Trabzonspor is a good team. It's a story team. You already mentioned people like Onazi, John Obi Mikel, have played there in the past. Onuachu, we see how he's shining in Trabzonspor. Tony Wakeme has had a good time in Trabzonspor. Now injuries, they hamper him now that he's getting older. But he has had a good time. They love him in Trabzonspor. And Onwaiwu already made his debut, had a fine performance, played in their cup game as well, had a fine performance. So he has started life pretty well in Trabzonspor. The fans, Turkish fans are always crazy. And to be honest, we don't really have a right to criticize a young player that is making a move and joining a team like Trabzonspor, considering the fact that our best player plays in that league as well. So we can't talk about the quality of the league. For me, I'm just happy to see him grow. When I interviewed him last year, you can check it out on the Home of Nigerian Football podcast. When I interviewed him last year, he said, look, his goal is that in the next 2 years, he wants to play for his national team, talking about Nigeria, the Super Eagles. Of course, he was not part of the AFCON squad, but he's somebody that believes that he's good enough and he can add something to the Super Eagles team. So now that he's playing in Trabzonspor, I'm sure that they will maybe pay more attention to him than what they were paying when he was playing in Wolfsberger in Austria, because the Turkish league is obviously a stronger league than the Austrian league. And, if he continues to do well, Trabzonspor, are they in Europe this season?
I don't think so.
Are they in Europe this season? Okay, no, I don't think so. but potentially they qualify for Europe next year. You know, they watch him play closer and he does well. So for me, I'm very happy for him. I wish him all the best. I hope that everything goes very well for him. You know, he's teaming up with Onuachu and YKM. His goalkeeper is Andrew Nana. Just
Mm-hmm.
another African player. And yeah, hopefully everything goes well for him. Shout out to TC. I mean, this is TC Gogo
This
now.
is that's my man.
It says Turkey are signing a lot of young African players now. Yes, Turkey are signing a lot of young. Why do you put the young in quotes? They are signing a lot
Don't
of
mind Sisi Gogo.
young African
I
players.
support you, Sisi Gogo.
Yeah. But yeah, shout
I
out
know
to
it's
this
good.
for the super chats and
Yeah.
comments. Yes, Turkey has signing a lot of young African players. And if he develops well, in 3 years' time, they can sell him and they will sell him to a bigger league and they'll make good money on him. So yes, it's a good one for him. It's a
It's
good
a
one for
good
him.
one for him. Yeah.
Uche is saying at least he no end for Croatia or Cyprus.
Mm-hmm.
Good one for him. Shout out to him. Okay, let us talk about another player. You mentioned that we'll probably talk about another player that has played in the NPFL not too long ago, and you're right about that. Youngster Sani Sulleman, youngster Sani Sulleman has joined RB Leipzig in the German Bundesliga. This is a player that, of course, represented Nigeria at the 20 World Cup. He was playing for AS Trenchin, and now he has made what we have to call a big move, probably the biggest move of any Nigerian player this summer, joining RB Leipzig. I was reading on their website the article that they wrote when he signed him, and they speak very highly of him. You know, they seem data driven. You know, they've watched him play. They believe that he has a lot of the qualities that they need for him to really develop and grow in the league. He's joined them on a contract until 2031, so he's locked in for the next 5 years. Bismillah. Sani Suleiman, RB Leipzig. Did you see this coming? What do you think about the move?
I didn't see it coming because, but one thing that you cannot doubt is his talent. But for him to, when he was in Aqua United, he was a fantastic player. You know, they recommended him to finish the judge during the World Cup qualifier against Benin Republic. You know, I don't think he took him. You know, he went. You know, he took different because we were lacking attacking options there against African and Benin Republic. He thought he's going to come because he's in Rio now, so he didn't take it. So for me, good player. But I've seen players like that too in the NPFL, but they didn't perform. You know, when that he went to Europe, so that's why I was being skeptical about it. That would this boy be the same player that they're talking about? But kudos to him that he's now in RB Leipzig. The issue is not just getting there; it's for you to actually want to perform there.
Mm.
You know, Samuel Kalu was highly rated. If you remember, he left ES Stressing to was it to Gent,
Gent,
then from
yeah.
Gent to Bordeaux. You know. So he proved himself in Gent when they got this guy first from Slovakia, Moses Simon. Then after Simon left, because Simon did so well in Gent, they got in Samuel Kalu.
Mm.
So now, as soon as we like, okay, this is opportunity for Nigerian players. It should go to Salzburg, RB Leipzig, sorry, and perform well.
Mm.
So it's going to open door for another Nigerian player, young Nigerian player, to come and show what perform when that club too. So I wish him very best of luck. People mention Chelsea, but it's RB Leipzig, and I saw that article too that you know everything was about scouting. They scouted him. They realized they saw his numbers, especially when he played in Slovakia. They saw his number. They went to the 20 World Cup too. They saw the way he played. The game that he did not play, we lost 4-0, if you remember, because he was suspended. So
Mm.
he's someone that they see that can actually perform well. So let's hope that he performs well.
Yeah, let's hope that performs well. I'm very happy for him. You know, somebody said Wama is
Mm-hmm.
young, like a 19-year-old player. So obviously he has a bright future ahead of him as long as he continues to lock in, focus and do his thing. Pacey guy, good on the flanks. You know, so far he has done well. He played 12 games for AS Trenchin in the Slovakia Nickel Liga this season. He scored 3 goals, he got 2 assists, put in quality performances even when he wasn't scoring or assisting. So he's a good player. It's just a matter of how he can go there and continue to develop, because that is the important thing. Is he going to walk into their lineup? Probably not. But he's somebody that RB Leipzig we know is a good developmental club. they like to
Mm-hmm.
train youngsters. They are a selling club. They like to train youngsters, and then in a couple of years they can sell you to somebody else, and make their profits. So I'm really, really hoping that he just focuses on his job and he does what he needs to do. But he's somebody that I'm going to be keeping an eye on, a honestly close eye on, in this season and in the next season, to see how he develops and how he performs. Sometimes we are very quick to knock Nigerian young players and say, oh, they're not good enough, we don't have talent, but obviously a club like RB Leipzig has seen something in him and they want to take a chance on him. It's now just about whether he's ready for the opportunity and if he can take it. So I'm really, really rooting for him, Sani Sulleman, and I hope that things go very well for him. And like you mentioned, a player playing in the NPFL just a couple of years ago, now joining one of the big teams in Germany in a top 5 league. Fantastic, fantastic. You can only be happy for him and just wish him all the very best as he continues the progression in his career. Shout out to Sani Sulleman.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about another transfer. A player that is returning to his old home, but this time he's making it his permanent home. I'm talking about Super Eagles forward Sadiq Umar. Sadiq Umar has joined Valencia CF in the Spanish La Liga on a permanent transfer. And of course, he's already scored a goal for them when he played in their Copa del Rey match against Burgers. I think he's played about 2 games or 3 games at this point now since joining them. He signed a contract until 2028, so he's there for 2.5 years. And yeah, returning to his old stomping ground. Of course, we know that things did not quite work out for him at Real Sociedad, and he went on loan to Valencia last season. He scored a couple of goals for them. They kind of liked him, and amidst their struggles this season, they said, you know what, let's bring this guy back and let's bring him on a permanent basis. Sadiq Umar is always one of those guys that a lot of people love to hate. I've seen him do fantastically well. I cannot forget that his 2021 season playing for UD Almeria then it was in the second division in Spain. He lit up the second division, and that's what made him get that his move to Sociedad before he tore his ACL, and then everything just kind of went downhill from there. But I'm really rooting for Sadiq. I like him because despite all the criticism that he gets from Nigerians, all the dislike, all the hate, he keeps on doing his thing. He's such a clumsy guy. He's such an awkward player to watch. So I understand people getting frustrated with him. Now that he's 28, this is this time to really lock in and focus, because he's not going to get much better from here. So I really hope that things continue to go well for him. I really hope that he performs and scores some goals in the Spanish La Liga as well. Not just playing in the Copa del Rey and scoring against lower league sides, actually playing in La Liga and scoring against La Liga clubs. He's played 2 La Liga games already for them, and of course, more to come throughout this season. So, like, your thoughts on Sadiq Umar joining Valencia permanently?
Good, good. I think it's so frustrating to see him not getting playing time, in Real Sociedad, and it's now that he's back to where they like him. I think that's the most important thing. When the coach believes in you, believe that you can actually do a very, very good job. I think, it's good. I'm happy I saw him play against Getafe. I think they won the game 1-0 away
Yes,
against
the 1-1
Getafe.
against Getafe. Yeah.
Against Getafe. So, he got a look at when he came on. So, but I was really impressed with actually what he did. When you are somewhere that you have confidence, you're gonna do well. You're gonna do well. So I'm happy that he's back. Let's see what we do.
Amazing, amazing. Shout out to Sadiq Umar. Wishing
Yeah.
you all the best. Okay, I know that's me. Like, you're usually not happy when our players go up north to North America, but we've had one of our bright young players, that a lot of people thought had a good future ahead of him. He has made a move. Of course, I am talking about Hamzat Ojediran. He has joined Colorado Rapids in the United States of America in the MLS from RC Lens. This is a guy that joined RC Lens. A lot of people were excited for him, but unfortunately, he's really found game time hard to come by. He's been on the bench a lot of the time. He's been unused a lot of the time. And I guess he kind of got tired of just not growing, and he decided to take his talents to the USA, joining Colorado Rapids. Most recently, we had Chidozie Awaziem playing for Colorado Rapids before he moved back to France.
Yeah.
So Hamzat already joining Colorado Rapids, contract until 2029. So, like, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's good for him. When he got scouted by, it's also a data-driven scout. By RC Lens. When they got him, I think he came from Hungary. So, and I know the player very well. So when they brought him into RC Lens, I was like, okay, let's see, let's wait. For me, I just don't think that it fits into the. I don't think it fits into the structure of RC Lens. So I wasn't surprised when he had games very hard to come by. You know, he's a young player; he can still develop. So I think there's less pressure in America. You know, let him go and enjoy himself. America is for enjoyment. Let him go and enjoy himself and also play football. Maybe probably performs well, like he was there, was there. He can probably actually come back. Let him go and be marking Messi, be snapping play with Busquets, be doing everything. The World Cup is just one around the corner, you know. So let's him just enjoy himself there. But for me, I don't think the move is really like a forward move for him. I just think that it's someone I just need to like go back slightly and see exactly how he can re-strategize and move forward.
Hmm. No, I mean, I agree with the sentiments. It's not a forward move. You cannot say, oh, he's joining a better team or he's going to a better league. I think it's a move that allows him to at least just keep playing football, keep growing, keep developing. If he does well enough, he's going to eventually potentially get a move to another team. So yeah, I'm just wishing him all the best. When he joined Lens, we had high hopes for him. Things did not quite pan out, but such is football, man. Like sometimes it just does not work out the way we think it is going to work out for certain players, and you just have to keep it pushing. You just have to keep it pushing. Could he have maybe joined a smaller team in France? Could he have maybe gone to another league in Europe? But when those Americans come in with their dollars, with the lifestyle, living in America, potential residence, all these things, you as an African man,
Is residency
potential, we don't know what the things
in
are like.
America? Okay,
you
yeah,
know. But
yeah.
again, America is an attractive place, and I always say this: unless you look at yourself as like a super, 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 superstar, unless you're
Mhm,
one of those players that you're like, "Ah, I have potential to be Osimhen, I have potential to be
mhm,
Lookman, if America comes calling, I'm telling you, most people will take it.
mm,
Because by the time they call you, and imagine, I don't know if they've not updated their salary website yet, but when they update it, I'll check how much is he's making. But
mm,
you look at players that coming from the NPFL going to America and going on salaries of 500,000 US dollars a year,
mm.
going on salaries
That's
of
massive.
yeah, up to 800,000, up to a million US dollars. When Ours was earning about 1.2. I think this guy, Obina Wobodo, is in the
Mm-hmm,
MLS now earning 1.2 million US dollars a year guaranteed. That doesn't
mm-hmm,
include bonuses and anything else that he makes. Alassane Yusuf, I think Alassane Yusuf is earning 945,000 US dollars a year. You know,
mm-hmm,
so when the Americans come with their money like this, it's not easy to say no. Like literally, unless you're somebody that you're like a superstar and you know that okay, no, I will make this money somewhere else. It's not easy to say no. Only God knows how much they are going to pay Ojedi now, but it's probably more than what he was making when he was playing in France. And for him, is as an opportunity for him to go and settle himself. So yeah, wishing him all the very best, man. I really hope that things go well for him. You guys know, like I follow the MLS quite closely. So I'll be watching that one and I'll be rooting for him for sure, for sure. Okay, very quickly, I wouldn't go into detail in this one, but Emeka Eze joined Sarıyerspor on loan from Korum in the Turkish second division. Interestingly enough, he went lower down the table, even though he was doing quite well for Korum, but you know, there can be several reasons for that. Samuel Akiri joined NK Osijek on loan from Widzew Lodz in Poland. He said he wasn't really happy with his game time in Poland, even though I think he had played about 15 matches this season, but he has only played 90 minutes once, always getting subbed off or getting subbed on. So he decided to make a move and he has gone to NK Osijek. We have a player that has moved to Portugal. It's been like, I'm talking about AGK Okpara. AGK Okpara. He has joined Vitória Guimarães in the Portuguese First Division, the Liga Portugal. I think they are currently like what, seventh in the Portuguese league or thereabouts. So, like, what do you think about
Mm.
this move? AGK Okpara, young forward, going to Vitória Guimarães.
You know, as a young player going to Portuguese league, if you are going to Portugal, you are going to Belgium, or you are going to Holland. These three leagues, you can actually develop there. I don't know, maybe his minders might probably be working and targeting that. Victoria Guimarães is a club that might develops what it likes young players, and that one, I think it was in Nigeria that played for that place before. I think it was
Mikel
Mikel
Agu,
Agu.
was it?
Yes,
Yeah.
Mikel Agu. Yes, I think it was Mikel Agu. So for me, it's a good move for him. Let him go there actually get playing time. Portuguese league, I like Portuguese league. I like players from Portuguese league. The way they are very skillful, actually good on the ball. So let's see exactly what works for him. But for me, I think Portuguese league, the Belgian league, and also the Dutch league, these are developmental leagues in Europe. So for him to pick the Portuguese league, I think is a very, very good for him.
Yeah, I think it's a good move. It's a step up for sure. I mean, moving from the Serbian league, he was playing for Novi Paca
Yeah.
in Serbia, 14 games this season, 2 goals, 1 assist, and Vitoria SC saw something in him that they've
Mm-hmm.
decided to take the chance. Potentially, he can make his debut in 5 days' time when they play against Estoril. And,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, okay, they're currently eighth, not seventh. They are eighth in the league, but they are only
Mm-hmm.
3 points away from fourth place. And if they're able
Mm-hmm.
to have a good second half of the season, and they can qualify for the Conference League or qualify for the Europa League. Who
Mm-hmm.
knows? Europa, okay, they probably won't catch Benfica in the Europa League spots, but maybe they can come
Mm-hmm.
forth and they can qualify for the Conference League, and it could be a good one for him. I'm really hoping that he shows himself to be a good player. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
he's only 20 years of age, so he's still in his developmental phase. They've given him the number 11 jersey. They are showing a lot of faith in him. Also, if you go on their website and you read the article that they wrote on him after signing him, you can see that he's a guy that they're high on and they think that he can really develop into someone good for them. So I think it could be very, very interesting to see. They are not firing, their forwards are not quite firing, is what, about 15, 16 games into the season, and their highest goal scorer has only 3 goals this season. So you can tell that they really need some firepower back. And just maybe AGK Opera can be the one to give them that much needed firepower. So I'm really rooting for him, and I hope that things go well. My only demand is that, please, they should not owe him, because this Portuguese team sometimes they like to be owe player.
Hopefully,
But
that's
they
the
should not
problem.
owe him. He can develop well, and hopefully he has a fantastic season, and we can look forward to seeing him in the future. He has signed a contract until June 2029, so he's locked in for the next 3.5 years. So yeah, shout out to AG Kelpara, wishing him all the very best in Victoria. Good Marius. Quick comments here, super chat comments. Let me just take that from Charles. He says Sadiq is another striker who is good with his feet. Yes, he's quite good with his feet. Looks very clumsy
Very
on the ball.
clumsy.
Looks very clumsy, but he makes it work one way or the other. I scored some beautiful goals. Last season for Valencia, I scored one or two very beautiful goals.
Yeah.
Makes it work. And yeah, it's just very, very clumsy. When he's running on the ball, you're like, this guy's about to fall down. Then he stumbles and then he keeps his balance, and all of a sudden he has crossed the ball. Somebody has scored it, and you're like, wow, how did he just do that? But Nigerian fans, I understand why Nigerian fans will get frustrated with him
Mm-hmm.
very, very quickly. But yes, that's other than Sadiq Umar. Okay, moving on again very quickly. This time a transfer that happened in the same league. Interestingly enough, he moved from first in the league to second in the league. You can understand why a little bit. I'm talking about Prosper Obah. Prosper Obah, this young striker, has joined Shakhtar Donetsk in the Ukrainian league. He joined from LNZ Shekazi. Of course, Shakhtar Donetsk is the biggest team in Ukraine. But it was a little bit of like, I wonder how they feel about him. 8 goals and 4 assists in 17 matches this season, and he sent his team to the top of the league.
Mm-hmm.
But then Shakhtar are currently second, and Shakhtar came calling, and he told his guys, "Oh my, go be you. I'm going to join Shakhtar Donetsk." I was like, I wonder how they feel about him in that his team that he left. I'm sure they'll be happy because they've made some money on him. But it's like, at least help us. Maybe we will win the league ahead of these guys now, Shakhtar.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he's joined Shakhtar Donetsk. He signed a contract until 2030. Smith Layi, your thoughts on Prosper Obah and on this transfer that he's made?
I think it's a good transfer. Shaka is like going to be consistent. You're going to see them on a regular basis. Just
Yeah.
we're talking about. I think we're talking about, was he online trying to join from Northern Forest to one of the big clubs? We're saying that, okay, why do you want to leave Northern Forest and join the big clubs? Because last year Forest was competing for the Champions League. Now look at where they are now.
Relegation.
So a big club also is going to be a big club. They have the financial deep pockets to purchase players. So there's going to be consistency playing for Shakhtar. So it's going to be joining the illustrious Nigerian player like Agawa. Agawa was played for Shakhtar next to
Larry Kayode.
Yeah, and Larry Kayode also played there. So a couple of players actually were played in that particular actually league. So I wish him luck. I hope that the form can also continue, because sometimes the structure of the team helps you to get goals. Let's hope that the Shaka structure can also help him to get more goals.
Yeah, and they're going to be playing in the Europa Conference League as well. So obviously, he gets an opportunity to show himself in Europe. Remember, a few years ago, it was Giftoban that was lighting it up in Conference League and got an opportunity seen by a lot of people in the world. No, he's not a midfielder. He is a striker. He's a striker, a midfielder. He's 22 years old. So he's still a guy on the come up, and hopefully he can do well. My only qualms with the Ukrainian League is just obviously since the whole conflict that has been happening, the Ukrainian League is not really being watched as much. I know I follow the Ukrainian League because he is there amongst a few other Nigerian players, but it's just not a league that a lot of people have been paying attention to. Mainstream Europe is not really talking about the Ukrainian League. But if he does well enough in the Conference League, he will get seen by other people in other countries. And
they bought Kevin from the Ukrainian League.
Well, scouting network, but Kevin is also Brazilian also, so it's a little bit.
I've been the Brazilian way up to it.
It's a little bit different, but again, anybody can be seen anywhere, to be honest, as long as you continue to perform. If you've been following us on our social media channels, you've been seeing that we've been posting this guy back to back to back because he has been doing very, very well for LNC Shakasi, and I really just hope that he doesn't tone it down in Shakhtar. I really hope that he does well, Obviously, this is like if you are playing for Leverkusen or you are playing for Werder Bremen. If you do well enough, you know that Bayern Munich is going to sign you. It's the way it happens. So same thing here. The Ukrainian League, Shakhtar Donetsk is obviously the powerhouse. So when there's a young player that is looking like one of the best players in their league, of course, Shakhtar Donetsk are going to sign him. And like I said, 8 goals and 4 assists in 17 games in the league so far this season. So why not? It's a big move for him, and I hope that everything goes very, very well. Very well. Okay, I think those are all the transfers that I wanted to note. I missed one women's transfer, so maybe I should just talk about it. Chioma, it wasn't even Chioma Okafor that I was talking about, but it's Chioma Okafor joined NC Courage, of course, moving from the collegiate system to now playing professional football. Wishing her the best. Not much to talk about. We have to see her at the top level, to really know how she's going to do. But then I also was going to note, Super Falcons player Uchenna Kanu, who has taken her talents back to Mexico with Cruz Azul. Of course, she was playing for Racing Louisville in the USA in the NWSL. Didn't quite have the best of time in the NWSL. I don't know if it's because of the injuries that she had, but oftentimes, honestly, when I watched her play in the American League, it was like she was just there to do cardio, just running around, not really impacting the game in any real way. In 3 seasons in America, she played trying to do quick math, I think 40 games, she scored 7 goals, no assists in the league. So not the best of times for her. Last season, she was not even really involved. She only played 7 games in the whole of last season. So she's taking her talents back to Mexico. The last time she was in Mexico when she was playing for Tigres, she broke records. She became the first African player to win the Mexican League. She scored lots of goals. So hopefully she can continue to do the same now that she's joined Cruz Azul. Just something to note is that she's now 28 years old, so she's now getting to like the peak of her powers. Can she earn her spot back in the Super Falcons team? It'll be very interesting to see. Of course, Super Falcons have a lot of firepower, lots of players performing in Europe, doing well across the globe. But who knows? Maybe if she does well enough in this Mexican league, she might be able to get her move. All right, all right, all right. Uche is asking, I'll take Uche's comments because Uche is a member of the channel. Uche is asking, what about the news of Onyedika joining Gala or Aston Villa? How factual is that? I mean, like, do you know if that is a factual transfer? I've seen the Aston Villa reports as well. Do you think that's something that could happen?
If you put it now out,
What is
people will
it?
quote you. If you put it out that it's linked, people will quote you.
Hmm.
Let him join first. For me, I don't. I'm like you now. I don't deal with rumors.
Hmm.
Let him join first because anybody can just be under the duvet and say that you guys linked with Aston Villa and ask like 5 or 4 people to actually want to share it. When they share it, it's going to go viral before you know it, they're linked. You know, it happened before now. Remember this
Yeah.
guy from that place in Turkey. Now, Henry Onyekuru, it was linked with Arsenal. In fact, your very good friend everybody was posting. There was no link with Arsenal. In fact, they even went to go and ask Ian Wright, hey, how do you think about Henry? He said, oh, Henry signs for Arsenal. It was just media talk. So,
Hmm.
but they got him to move to Everton at the end of the day.
And at the end of the day, like sometimes all these rumors can be maybe they might have maybe scouted you one game, and then all of a sudden people start saying, "Oh, they're interested in signing." Obviously, I like Onyedika. I wish him all the best. I want him to grow. Aston Villa is a team that is doing very well right now. So if he joins Aston Villa, it would definitely not be a bad move at all. You know, they are saying that he's potentially coming in as a replacement for Boubacar Kamara, who suffered an injury. I know that obviously this is a guy that was linked to AC Milan in the past that we thought would have left Club Brugge by now. So if he gets the opportunity, I'm sure he will take the opportunity. And the English league, you know, physical league, pacey league, it would be interesting to see how Onyedika adapts to that, you know, because Onyedika is more of a slow-paced kind of guy, you know, plays calmly. But of course, he also plays in the UEFA Champions League and has done well in certain games there. So it's not impossible. It's not impossible. We just don't know how true. Again, rumors are rumors. I think the only time that you can take a rumor to the bank is when maybe David Ornstein or Fabrizio Romano. Those are the guys that when they say it, you know, okay, it's those guys. It's almost as if they are inside the club, hearing their conversations. So you can take those to the bank. But for now, none of those like extremely reputable guys have spoken about it. I see a lot of people have been quoting a Belgian journalist named Sacha Tovelieri as the source for this news. You know, he's considered a Belgian transfer specialist. So there might be some truth to it. We just have to wait and see what eventually happens. But yes, I think it would be a good move if it does happen for him. Would he play week in, week out at Aston Villa? That's the question. You know, because again, we're happy when our players join these big or these Premier League teams, but we are seeing what is happening to Chrisantos Uche. We are seeing Tola Rokodare is now getting game time, but it's playing for a team that is surely going down. They've recently claimed 2 points, so we're happy about that. I think they drew against who did they just draw against this past weekend? They drew against Newcastle, you know, they drew against Everton, they drew against Man U, you know, so they are they are getting points small. I think now their goal is probably just to get 12 points so that they don't break the record for the lowest amount of points in the Premier League. Once they go, but they are going down. They are going down, you know. So sometimes you're happy with these players getting moves to the big leagues, but at the same time, it's you go there and you sit on the bench. Look at Frank Onyeka, struggling to get a game in Brentford. But we just have to wait and see how things develop. You know, Aston Villa are currently third in the Premier League, so why not? Why not? But this Premier League, nobody is serious in Premier League this year. We also just have to say that everybody is on serious. You know, they want to dash Arsenal league. Arsenal self, no one carry them. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. Okay, moving forward quickly. I think that's that on transfers for today. If anybody wants us to talk about another thing, send it in the super chat. We'll prioritize your comments. Or join the channel, be a member of the channel. That's why I took Uche's comments. I keep talking about this. In 2026, we're diving deeper into our channel memberships. So click on our YouTube channel profile, go to our homepage, you see the membership tab. And of course, you can click the link to join, or you can also click the link in the description of the video or in the comment section of the video, depending on when or where you're watching. And we'll try to Now we will try to. We are going to make sure that we dive deeper into our membership content. Members are going to be getting early access to videos, whether it be interviews, analysis, fun videos, whatever the case may be. There are going to be some member exclusive videos that will only be visible to members of the channel. We're going to be doing giveaways. We have a jersey giveaway coming up. Maybe I would even do a jersey giveaway for this 96 Nigeria jersey team member of the channel, and we'll give members a chance to to tell us what to talk about, what to post, all sorts of different things that we have planned for 2026. But you have to be a member of the channel to participate in all of this. And of course, there are different tiers of membership. The higher the tier, the more perks that you get. Adedosun said, I'm a member and you're not taking my comment. Adedosun, you were not asking any question or this thing, but let me take Adedosun's comment. He says Onyedika, he was linked to AC Milan, but Milan took his midfield partner Ardon Jashari. Okay, so Adedosun, my apologies. I've taken your comments now. I've taken your comments. But shout out to all members of the channel. Make sure you join if you aren't a member already. Okay, let's get into the AFCON. AFCON 2025. It has come and it has gone. Just like that, Honestly, I've put in a lot of hours in this AFCON. Man, if you see me, you should squeeze $10 in my hand. Like, I've put in a lot of hours, watching games left, right, center, recording videos every other day because the games were thick and fast and having to record and then doing all the post-match streams. I want to give a big shout out to everyone that engaged with the channel during the AFCON. We grew quite a bit. We got quite a number of views. New people joined, subscribed to the channel. We have a big goal for 2026, so we're happy that all people are part of it. If this is your first time watching Naija FC, maybe you followed us during the AFCON and this is your first time watching Naija FC, we hope that you stick with us. We're here every week. But yes, Smith Layi, the Super Eagles cruised to the group stage. Mozambique blew them out of the park. Algeria absolutely dominated, and then we faced the host nation Morocco. We felt a penalty shootout defeat and eventually claimed the bronze medal against Egypt. I want to ask you a question in simple terms. I want a one-word answer first of all, then you can explain. Yeah? Super Falcons at AFCON 2025. Success or failure? One word. Yeah, Super Eagles performance at the AFCON 2025. Success or failure?
Success.
Success. Okay, tell us why. Why is it a success?
So for me, I think if you at this rate, the expectation for Nigeria this year's AFCON wasn't that much because of where we are coming from. And if you look at this AFCON compared to last AFCON, we came out of this AFCON with revelations. The guys that played for us in the last AFCON was just like the guys we know expect to shine. But we came out of this AFCON with what? With our heads high. Look at Akko Adams. We know that he just got to go today.
Yeah.
We know that we have a player for the future that can start now. Look at Bruno Yemechi. Look at the way they have delivered. So for me, I just think that we also played what? Beautiful football. AyoT, if you remember that me and you, people argued with us about Barcelona's style and approach. That why will you be approaching games like that, defensive? But this guy played attacking football and we won games. AyoT, it got to a stage that people think that we cannot play with the back four. Remember? Yeah. But this guy showed that he can play with the back four, dominate opponent, and even score goals. I was fortunate to go and watch one of the games against Algeria. I saw Calvin Bassey live. Some of the things I've never seen online. Calvin Bassey is a different animal. It's a completely different animal. See, so for me, I think it's a success. We got to the semi-finals, we got our golden bronze, and with our head actually was head right. We are the only team that did not really lose. And maybe
we never lost in regulation time.
Regulation time, yeah.
I think I would also class it as a success, a mild success in my opinion, but a success nonetheless. It is like when you are a student that consistently gets A's. Now your goal is an A+ or A star. You get another A. It's still success. You still did well,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not quite what you wanted. That's why I say it's a mild success. There are some students that if they get 80 like this, they will go and pop bottles. But there are some people that if they get 80, they'll be looking at you that more. I could have got 90 something. Why am I get 80?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how I feel about it. It's like, yes, we did well, but man, we supposed win that trophy, especially considering the fact that we won. We got to the final last time, and we know that this is our ninth bronze medal. I mean, so this bronze is now it don't become normal thing for us to dey carry bronze, so we need to up our level a little bit. But like you rightly mentioned, we've seen that the team can play with the back four. Even players that people were doubting, they showed themselves good in this tournament. A lot of people were saying, Shemi Ajayi, can he do it? Shemi Ajayi, Shemi Ajayi, Shemi Ajayi. We saw him play well. Even Baitosai Samuel that has cost us some headaches in the past. Even in previous matches, I've certain games that have been like, oh my bright, what are you doing? He showed that he can perform consistently at this AFCON. Bruno Yemechi, that a lot of people were not sure about, came and showed that he can play well at this AFCON. Calvin Bassey is Calvin Bassey. Umar Bali, no head touching moments, no nervy moments, focus, did his job, got it right. We saw Alex Iwobi become, who we know that Iwobi can be. We saw Lookman play well. Thank God Osimhen also had a good AFCON and scored goals and got assists. We saw Akko Adams come into prominence in this tournament as well. So there were a lot of positives to take out of it. We can score goals. From a defense that we felt like we must concede every single match to keeping 4 clean sheets in knockout round. So we saw a lot of positives. We definitely saw a lot of positives. And Eric Schell has shown that he has the tools. 1 year on the job, he's done this. If you keep him for another 1 year, you expect to see growth. You expect to see more development. I think for me, my major downside is that Eric Schell maybe doesn't trust his full team yet, or doesn't have a proper squad of 23, 25 that he really trusts, considering the fact that there were some players that it was like, come hell or high water, you knew he was not going to sub them on. The likes of Ebenezer Akinsomiro, the likes of Usman, Salim Fago was maximum, maybe if he's 92nd minutes and the game is ending 94, you just bring him on for bringing him on sake. Unadi didn't get many minutes as well. So it gave the impression that he didn't really trust his bench. In most of the games, he'll make 2 subs, and then that was maybe Chukwueze come on, Simon will come on, or maybe somebody in midfield. He'll make 2 subs, and that's it until maybe like 80 something, 90th minutes, when people maybe just are tired or something. Then he'll make 1 or 2 other changes. I don't think there's any match that we used all 5 of our substitutions. So it kind of just gave the impression that he doesn't fully trust that, okay, if I sub in the off and I bring Oyedika, or if I bring in Adi, or if I bring, that they will be able to give me, even if not the same level, but close to what I'm expecting. And I hope that, he can use these next few months to really scout more players and see who he really trusts to be able to do a job for him, going forward. But I think the future is bright. I definitely think that the future is bright. I've said it already. I think that the coach should retain his position. If they let him go, either because they don't want to pay him what he wants or something, we're going to take some steps back. By the time they bring a Guavon to be caretaker, then they look for another how many months to hire somebody else. We're going to take steps back. We saw this with Jose Pesero. After Pesero got us to the AFCON, he rightfully came and said, oh yeah, people have to pay me well because I've shown you that I can get to the final. So pay me well. He said, I'm not going to pay him. Maybe because he got bronze and he did not get silver or gold, maybe he cannot just come and ask for plenty increase in his salary like that. Because if he had won the trophy, he come and tell, yeah, you have to pay me my money, but now he can still ask for a raise, but it cannot be too big a raise because they will look at him and say, guy, remember that the target we gave you was a trophy, you not even reach final, but let's see how it goes. I really, for the first time in a long time, the Super Eagles really excited us as Nigerian supporters. They excited us. They made us look forward to matches. We went into every game. All the games you felt like we could win. We were not nervous. So I think it was a good tournament overall, and I'm really looking forward to the future. So I'll ask you, because I know like right from the very beginning, you were somebody that was big on Eric Schell. I remember I was very skeptical at the start because again, his resume did not show us anything for us to be excited about. But you were big on him. So now that Eric Schell has had 1 year, he has gone to the AFCON. Give us your thoughts on his job so far.
His job, it hasn't performed well. He's trying to create identity for the player, for our national team. he wants us to play in a certain way, different coach, different philosophy. He just wants like demand from his players, and you can see from like if you have to do like a review, a 1 year review now, because it's just 1 year on the job. I don't think that's never lost a game, a serious game in regulation time. So for you to know that he's also doing something, very right. So for me, I think I don't. Somebody was trying to calculate the win percentage. I think it was around 60 something percent. I don't know. So he's someone that is getting everything right. So for me, you mentioned something when you were saying about talking about he didn't trust his bench. We all know why would he trust his bench? But you saw those guys. You just what you saw how they play against Egypt. You saw those. Why would you? So it's a different level when you have Ndidi, Onyeka. It's a different ball game. I saw those guys play against Algeria. I was going to go and buy snacks all the time. I was enjoying myself.
Mm.
For you, even for me to be watching Super Eagles and be playing with people, enjoying, not panicking. I was enjoying myself. So for me, I just think that he needs to get good replacements. I've seen some of these guys who, the reason why they're not ready. Some of them are not actually ready yet. So I just think he needs to get new players. He's bent on getting new players. Actually, he's working hard to get new players to this team. And he already scouted some players that can actually going to get to this team. So AFCON was too close. He made his decision, one very heavy decision after the World Cup qualifier against Congo, and he said that he would not call one player again. And for him not to call that player, and I used that player there, I was like, this guy is happy.
Which player is that?
I don't want to mention the player's name.
You have to tell us now. You cannot.
No, you can. He didn't say it publicly. He said it privately. So, and the player did not, because he saw something that was not right, and somebody else. I'm not going to imagine. He saw something that was not right, and he said that this guy is not coming back, and he didn't come back. So I like that. He's bent on discipline. He wants his player to play a certain way. Give him free and let him get players that he can play for him.
So you said give him free hand.
Yes.
Do you think that any Nigerian coach would ever really truly have a free hand to run everything like they want to run it? Because for me, I find it hard to believe that Eric Shell is the one that wanted Mohamed Usman, is the one that wanted Salim Fag. Do you think any coach can ever really have free hand?
The issue is that I don't want to be like a broken record too. The issue of those Salim Fagos, Usman Mohammed is the issue of ethnic balancing, with due respect to them, so that the team, certain part of the country can feel that this team is also their team identity. We can also recognize that this is part of them. Because I've lived in different parts of the country and I knew that how would behave. So I think it's just issue of identity that way. So it's nothing we take. It's just for him to when I say free hand is that if you say I want this player, I want the NFF to go after the player and get the player for him. It's not for him to start be running about after the player. No, I want the NFF to be able to get that player for him. Yes.
All right. And speaking about the Super Eagles and our performance at the AFCON, let's also just remember the fact that the latest FIFA World Rankings that came out today, January the 19th, has seen the Super Eagles of Nigeria rise to 26th in the world. We are now the third highest ranked side in Africa. Of course, this is a big step up for us, considering the fact that we've been languishing down for a little bit now. Smith Layi, your thoughts on the Super Eagles rising, after a successful AFCON, gone up 12 spots. In Africa now, we're only behind the two finalists, Morocco and Senegal. What do you think?
Yes, if you remember, we had a podcast like this about 2 years ago. When we discussed, after we finished second last year's AFCON, we shoot up to 26. So not 28 then, like 28. But when Finn just took over, we slid by about 10. went down. No, I think we went from 28 to 32. Then
We
with 32,
went,
we
yeah,
went like
from 28, we went to 30, then we went to 38, then
that's
30.
38. Can you see? In that
Mm,
space, that was when Philip Judge was the coach of 1990. So it's about building on what we have.
mm.
Now
But
that
sorry, I just want to say in September 2025, that was our lowest in the past 2 years. We dropped to 45th in September 2020.
45th, you can see. So we need to be able to, capitalize on this. It's not as if you are now up, thinking that you can now do whatever you like. We need to be able to maintain success. We need to be able to continue to win games. If you are not winning games, you're going to slide down. And it's a very big disadvantage for Nigeria. So for me, I'm happy that we are now 26, which I think that if we play a couple of games, we're going to be very in the top 20, very soon. Imagine Nigeria in the top 20. That is very great. So for me, I think that it is very good. That's what tells you how to when you win games. You get it shows.
Mm. But of course, like some people have pointed out, the fact that we're not going to the World Cup, at least as of now, we are not
Yes,
going to the World Cup. When other teams are playing and winning games, that might potentially drop us because right now it's only African teams that gain points because
yeah.
it's African teams that were active while the rest of the world was not. So it'll be interesting to see how our rankings develop over the course of 2026. The biggest climber in this latest ranking was Cameroon. Cameroon and Nigeria both went up 12 points, but Cameroon have gone up to 45th. Nigeria have gone up to 26. And just to give you guys a roundup of the top teams in Africa, Morocco, eighth in the world, now eighth in the world, still the top team in Africa. Senegal, they are 12th in the world, up 7 places. Nigeria, 26th in the world, up 12 places. Algeria, 28th in the world, up 6 places. Egypt, 31st in the world, up 4 places. Ivory Coast, 37th in the world, up 5 places. Cameroon, 45th in the world, up 12. Tunisia, 47 in the world, down 6. DR Congo, 48 in the world, up 8. Mali, 54 in the world, down 1. And then we have South Africa, 60th in the world, up 1. But we're the ones that are not going to the World Cup. Sure. And then, just in case you are wondering, Charlie, they are still 72nd in the world because they were not at the AFCON, so they did not gain anything. I have a question here. Just okay. You know what? Before I ask this question, let's also talk about the Super Eagles have won a fat check for finishing third at the AFCON. 2.5 million US dollars, which comes to about 3.55 billion Nigerian naira. Of course, this money doesn't get shared between the players. No, it's the money that gets paid to the federation. Smilai, knowing everything that we know about the federation, do you believe that these monies will be spent properly, will be put into the right areas before they come and tell us that, hey, do you know how much it costs to organize one match? Do you know how much it costs to travel? These things that they always tell us, they never really explain to us how the money is spent. They will just tell us that we don't know how much they spend. Do you have any belief, any faith that these $2.5 million that we've won will be spent properly and used for the growth of Nigerian football?
For me, I think to run football is very expensive, and if the last AFCON we won a couple of dollars. They come and explain how they used it. We still struggle to actually play these players. So, in my own opinion, I can't say I can trust Ibrahim Gusole themselves to do the right thing. But I think CAF should do better by trying to audit these things and make sure that they spent very well. Falcons now, we can start a campaign like 2 months' time. The NFF is going to be able to foot the bill. I don't know what's going to happen in March, but you see under 17 and every day, and every will use those food. So part of this money they spend on all this age group and things like that. So that's the reason why I don't be the Namibian FA president then when it was last year's AFCON. AFCON so that the players said that the FA that we should share this money. We cannot share this money to Abo. We also have commitment. You have women team to play. You have what's it called? So we have to. You cannot be harmful. They started fights. So I think the NFF. We don't try to use this thing, but at least she not come and tell that they are broke. So I think I don't trust them to use it well, honestly. I have to be honest. I don't, despite that they have enough commitment, I think that they will still miss spending it.
Not the one that in another 2 months now we'll be hearing that Super Falcons at the AFCON, they are not getting paid, they are having one issue or the other, you know.
Yes.
And that kind of brings me to the question that I have here from Charles. Charles says, is Guso running for the second time as NFF president? Bismillah. Do you
Yeah,
have
he's
any?
running for second time as NFL president, but he has not actually declared that he's going to run. But he wants to. He wants to run. He was thinking that this AFCON can actually be
Boost his
something that you can use to say, okay, you know what, I got this AFCON trophy. I also deserve to be there. The AFCON trophy is not actually what happened. I haven't heard that it was not a physical battle, like all a very verbal, altercation, with the Moroccan FA president. That one calling the son of the B word, which I think is probably inappropriate to actually use against your fellow man. So for me, I think he wants to use this, but it's not working. But he's still not try his luck again. But I think that those that are in power already made up their mind that it will not continue.
Interesting. And definitely Amaju is not running for president. Amaju is out of.
No, Amaju is not running. I think
Amaju will just stay behind the scenes and be doing his thing.
Yeah, I think some people in higher places already think that we need better hand to run for the next president. So, and they will do everything to install that a very good candidate.
All right. Very quickly, I want us to still talk about the AFCON other than Nigeria. But Smilai, based on this AFCON performance, on a scale of 1 to 10, how optimistic are you for the future of the Super Eagles? Looking forward to the next AFCON.
Good. This
scale of 1 to 10, I ask.
Next AFCON 8.
Okay.
8. I think because we can now have a pattern of play. We need to get some players in our weak areas and say that they have to dominate games. We struggled to dominate games in the past. Even against the low block team. Now we can open up low block team. You can see against Angola. And so no, against Angola. Was it Angola? Mozambique. Yes. We open them up. So we can now open up. Low block team we struggle against them, but now we can open them up. That's very, very good thing.
All right. Okay, let's move on. The AFCON 2025 final, Morocco versus Senegal. Crazy game. Lots of drama. We can't talk about the entire match, but let's talk about the key moments in the game. We had the goal that was disallowed for Senegal. The Senegal goal that was disallowed. It was adjudged to be a foul on Achraf Hakimi by Sek, before the ball eventually rebounded and was headed in. It's like, did you think that was a foul, or did you think that was poor refereeing?
It was poor refereeing, actually, because I think that he just didn't want the game to actually he didn't want just them to decide the game like that. I think he's really enjoying the game. I think probably he didn't want Senegal to win that game at that point. So he's a poor referee. I watched the referee watch today on Sky Sports. He brought in a veteran referee to come and assess what happened.
Gallagher, I think it was.
Yes, during the AFCON final. No, just be patient slightly. Then if it goes to VAR, we can now actually check. Probably that is a clear and obvious error. But based on what they saw, at least allow the game to actually just to see what's going to happen before you make your mind. That the moment the corner go, there's no way, because the whistle went before the ball entered the net.
And for me, that's the big issue, because see, honestly, some people might say that was a foul. Some people might say it's not a foul. I understand. But the main thing was the fact that he blew the whistle before the ball even entered the net. If he has not blown the whistle yet, the ball enters the net, VAR can check and VAR can tell him, oh yeah, come and look at it again. And he might look at it and he might say, I still think it's a foul. Or he might look at it and say, no, both of them were pushing, so I'm not going to give a foul. But the big mistake that he made there was that he blew the whistle before the ball even, once Hakimi fell down, he don't already blow whistle. The goal even went in. So at that point, because some people were saying, why was there no VAR check? That's the reason why there wasn't a VAR check. Because the foul was given before the ball entered,
But
and VAR cannot intervene for just a regular foul. It had to have been, if it was a goal, then VAR would have checked it. So it's not as if the VAR was also not working, for Senegal. So that one I think was just on the main referee. He just messed that one up. Now let's go to the second incident, the one that caused the brouhaha that eventually happened. We saw a penalty given to Morocco in stoppage time for an alleged foul on Brahim Diaz. Did you think that was a foul?
It was a penalty, but Brahim Diaz made more out of it. If it was Nigeria, they played that one and they didn't give us penalty, the internet will not contain us. It was actually a penalty because you don't lean on somebody like that in the box. Brahim Diaz played for Real Madrid. He once played for AC Milan before. Very experienced player. The moment you touch, okay, let me give you an example. The penalty for Nigeria against Argentina, 2018 World Cup. Balogun felt that Mascherano was trying to hold him. What did he do? He leaned on that Mascherano thing and penalty for Nigeria. You don't do that. You don't lay your hands on people in the penalty box. You have to put your hand like this. That's why you don't want to marry him. You don't put your hand on the neck and say, you put your hand like this. I think soft, but it was a penalty.
I personally did not think that the ref should have given it. Look, this is another one that I think some people will say penalty, some people will say it's not a penalty. It was very, very soft. But that's
very soft,
when you're playing at that high level, if you give the ref an opportunity to make a decision, you're putting yourself in potential danger. Because when your arm goes around the neck of a player, all the player has to do is go down, and now the ref has to look at it. So the pull was very little, but Brahim Diaz fell down and started screaming at the referee to go and check it.
He forced the referee.
Yeah, he forced it, and VAR, by the time they ask him, once they send the ref to the monitor, most of the time, that it's going to give the penalty. And then after the ref awards the penalty, chaos ensues. Fans are upset, started trying to get on the field. The Senegalese coach instructed his players to walk off the field. Like, yes, I know that throughout the tournament, people felt like the decisions were going in Morocco's favor. Even we said the same thing. But do you think asking the players to walk off the field, was that the right thing for their coach to have done in that moment?
It's just the heat of the moment. Yeah, after a few minutes, I knew that it was wrong. But let me tell you something. It's easier said than done. If it's me, I will ask them to walk out. Because just call it a give me go, and they're about to rob you now in front of you. Do you see the way the Senegalese fans were beating police? So to tell you that it's like this AFCON, you want to steal it finally. Because for me, I think it was a very bad advertisement for African football. From the Salah goal to the Brahim Diaz situation to Papatel asking them to walk off the pitch. And I'm happy that CAF came out this morning to say that they're going to suspend him indefinitely until we just discuss this matter. It's a very wrong decision to do that. If they stayed for like 15 more minutes, it would have been a forfeiture.
Yeah.
But the forfeiture in an AFCON final, that would have been the most controversial in history. Up till now, it's still the most controversial AFCON final in history. People have mentioned Ghana against Libya in 1982, Nigeria against Cameroon in 1988, but this is not close to this. This is a controversial tournament from the start to finish. Let's just say the way it is. So he was wrong, but for me, it was so many things happened in that game that you cannot even totally blame him.
Sadio Mane eventually asked the players to come on, and as God will have it, as destiny will have it, as fate would have it, Brahim Diaz, in his mind, he don't already see the newspaper tomorrow. They will post a picture of him, Panenka. They will post a picture, you see Mendy on the floor. They will post picture of them lifting the trophy. He already had the picture in his mind. Anybody that is saying he intentionally missed that penalty, I'm sorry, but I think you are saying rubbish. I don't think there's any way that he intentionally missed it. If you want to intentionally miss, you can just kick the ball and roll it on the floor to the goalkeeper. You can play it wide. There's many different ways to miss a penalty intentionally. It's not Panenka that you used to miss intentionally. So I don't believe that he was intentionally missing it. But as fate would have it, they missed the penalty. Brahim Diaz, he will never forget this day in his life. And Senegal eventually went. Pap Gay scored a fantastic goal, a goal worthy of winning any tournament. And Senegal won the trophy. Fantastic one. But like you said, and that's what Manny said after the game, that he just felt like for Africa, it would not have been a good image for the final to end like that. The whole world was watching. CAF have made so much noise about it is being broadcasted in was it 185 territories, something like that. The FIFA president was there. Our big African event. If the final ended with a forfeit, it would have been terrible. But also, if the final ended with Brahim Diaz scoring that goal, it would also have been terrible because this AFCON would have been remembered as the AFCON that Morocco stole. That's kind of how the AFCON would have been remembered. So I think, God is the ultimate designer. He's the ultimate storyteller. And I think God just designed this. It was supposed to be, it was supposed to be like this. It was supposed to have all this drama. It was supposed to have all these incidents. And ultimately, Senegal was supposed to win. Sadio Mane got his moment again. And then he can retire from, the AFCON, from this thing, and have his head held high. So for me, the Pap Chow decision to go off the field, not the right decision to make, but understandable why he would just be like, may match just end, I beg. We're not playing again. But also credit to Sadio Mane for telling his players, see, let's just come out, man. Anything that happens. Ultimately, the fans are the most important people. The world is watching. That's not the image of Africa. These are the things that will make the Europeans, that will make the South Americans, North Americans, not to take us seriously. They'll say, oh, AFCON final, they're making bad calls, and then they decided not to play again. So I'm happy that, even though they will still talk about all these things, but I'm happy that the game finished, and I'm happy in the manner at which the game finished. Senegal, very, very well deserved. They were the best team, and they deserved to win the game. So I'm happy about that.
Let me just say something about the penalty. I'm going to see it from like a different angle. See, it's debatable. When we're watching football, when you save a last-minute penalty, and your team just walk off like that, and I know that the response is, the reason why those are making arguments. I have watched the amateurish video, of that penalty. In fact, one guy even showed the reaction of each player. Somebody just saved, just like your AFCON dream going. Many just saved penalty. Even when he saved from Aguero, it wasn't crucial. People celebrated, yes. I'm not saying that it's intentional, but I just look at it in a way that there's some things they're not telling us in this AFCON final. I saw the way the Moroccans even responded, when he lost the penalty. I'm not going to come and say here that, he did it. But I think that in the morning when I did my own review, I was thinking that I just need somebody to come and convince me that I look at about 20 videos, and I was like, somebody just saved. Celebrate. Just save a last-minute penalty to keep your seed in the competition. And it was like, see, you save corner kick.
I understand. See, like, I understand what you're saying, but I think that was a result of they don't remove their mind already. I don't think it's because they knew that it was not going to go in. I think it was a case of you're already frustrated. Your captain just said, "Yeah, come back." So yes, okay, we'll come back. I think they just removed their mind.
I was shocked, actually. I've never seen this happen.
Their mind. And after Mendy saved it, they were just like, "Oh, yeah, game don't end." Kind of. Because see, for me, the reaction of Walid Regragui, the reaction of Brahim Diaz makes me understand that there is no. See, it's like, let's be honest with ourselves. If it's you're not going to agree to miss that penalty. If it's me,
I know.
To miss. I'm about to win my country's first title since 1976. In the last minute, I get penalty. Then I'll now somehow not want to score. He wanted. You could see his face throughout after the penalty, throughout the extra time, after the game. He will never forget this day in his life. For me, there is a 0% chance that it was planned. 0%.
No,
I know the reactions were not how you would normally react to saving the penalty, but I think that was just because they've already removed their mind from it. So when he saved, you even saw the only person that really reacted was Mendy. Mendy just like pointed to the sky to like, oh no, thank God, or God is there or something. You know, there is no way he wanted to score that thing. He just do nonsense.
And for me, I just think that the old AFCON final is a Chelsea shambles. So that is why anything that they come here and say about the AFCON final is not valid. And that's why I'm going to say it here again, that this AFCON has become like a cash out, AFCON. This does not represent the identity of African football again. And I think that it's a shame that, in our biggest competition, that this is what we have. It's more or less like in the house sport competition. I was so disappointed. That's the reason why, those Senegal being champion, worldly winners. But I just look at the final like, why can't just this one be a group stage game? And everybody just go. Like, we just forget it. No matter the spectacular goal that Papa Gueye scored, people will still remember that it was this controversial incident. For me, I don't know how this thing works. So immediately, they call that guy, is he called Ndala, to go and take that thing in VR. If you are telling him, say, please don't give this penalty. It's going to be a big problem. It's not, if it's 50-50, don't give it though. Health is clear and obvious. Because for me, despite this disgraceful, I would say AFCON, from the officiating part, that would have just saved the whole thing. At least. If the guy did not blow penalty and the game continued, but this whole penalty thing just destroyed, for me, the image of the game in Africa. And I'm really, really sad because I don't know what the future holds now for the game.
Okay, let me take some comments here. So Charles says, look at Senegal. They haven't lost a CAF match since 2019. Consistent investment in youth football and football infrastructure. Congratulations, Senegal. I think you mean in regulation time, because obviously they lost the last AFCON round of 16 to the eventual winners, Ivory Coast, but was on penalties. So I think you mean they haven't lost in regulation time. That's true. Fantastic. I think over the last decade, Senegal have been the best African side. You have to give them their credit. First team, fantastic. 2 AFCONs. Their youth team as well, fantastic. So you have to give them their credit. Adil Damola says maybe the Senegalese players were in shock. And I think it could have been shock. It could have been just the feeling of justice being served. It didn't feel like something that they had to particularly celebrate. It's more like, yes, kind of thing. But I think it was.
It could be AyoT. It's just so when we have watched spectacular AFCON final, and they now reduce us to this. Oh my days, that is horrible.
Okay. I want to now ask finally to wrap up on this AFCON. Morocco, they came into this tournament as one of the favorites, not just because they're the host nation, but also because they are a very good team. And then all of a sudden, we're seeing them resort, forget the refereeing part, to just silly antics. Silly antics. Look. Something like this, going to steal the goalkeeper's towel, not once, not twice. We had just unnecessary things. We also had them fighting with the Senegalese players if not them to the of towel. This is happening during the match. During the match, they're trying to steal towel. They are dragging on the floor. And then I think for me, the most disappointing one. For me, that was the most disappointing. A big player, superstar, global star, African player of the year, like Achraf Hakimi, is joining them to be stealing towel. These Moroccan antics, how embarrassing is it that Morocco showed themselves to the world like this?
That's why I say that this is it's not about drama, AyoT. This is disgraceful. This is not good. The guy that stole the towel for Obah was using his towel to make tea in the morning. You saw the video. Was making tea with that towel in the morning and everything. So for me, that's why I say when people say it's drama, this is not drama. You saw nothing against Obah. Why can't CAF work on that? If the problem with this is that accredited CAF official were the ones stealing towel. Accredited CAF official. So who will CAF now call to stop that? It's so bad. And the whole thing is about Morocco releasing statements about the misconduct of Abatia. What about the nonsense they did? That video, there was a second angle to that Hakimi video. It was one guy that called Hakimi to help him take something. Hakimi said, "Is it bottle?" He said, "No." He said, "It's the towel." So Hakimi had chewed it over. So, it's just bad. Hakimi is a global brand. I don't think he should be able to reduce himself to this nonsense. For me, I think FIFA should ask them not to go to World Cup again. It's bad. Morocco is a very good tourist area. You go there, you enjoy yourself. But about the spirit of fair play, I think it's not a good place. We should not go back there again.
And for me, it is so embarrassing, so disgraceful. Putting yourself in the eyes of the world like that, it is so unnecessary. And the worst part of this for me is that they are good enough. Without all of this, they are good enough to win. Just play your football. You can actually win. You don't need all these antics. You don't need all this cheating. Some people were saying that it's because they say that West Africans have juju, all sorts of things. The most logical one is that because it was raining a lot of the time, wet gloves is the ball can slip, things like that. You don't want the goalkeeper to have. But it's just like, why can't you just play fair? Seeing ball boys, seeing stewards, seeing players, the fact that Senegal had to send somebody to protect a towel not during the match. They are fighting on the back of the post. It even spilled onto the field during the game. I think it is so shameful. CAF, I know that CAF, maybe the Moroccan FA would argue that those are not Moroccan FA officials. Those are ball boys that were accredited by the local organizing committee. Those are stewards that were hired by the local organizing committee. So they will say that it's not on the Moroccan FA. But I think that some kind of warning has to go out at the very least, even if you cannot punish them. Because you cannot represent us like this. If that's the case, why didn't Ivory Coast do all of this last time? Share this one. Okay, you need the towel. Ivory Coast could have been stealing the goalkeeper's water bottle now. Let the goalkeeper be dehydrated on the field so that he will faint and then they will score goal. It is so silly, so unnecessary. It's like going into the tournament, we already kind of knew that there might be some antics and things that will happen, but nobody's mind even reached they will be stealing your towel. Like, it's not something that we thought about, that is, even if they want to find a way to win, that's not something that came to our mind, that they'll be stealing your towel. So shameful. All of them have to be ashamed of themselves. No matter what Morocco wants to say, they can say, Senegal did not conduct themselves well. People are saying all sorts of things. They are the whole world, they don't open your ears for global television. Everybody in the world has seen what it is like. And while I don't think FIFA will take away the 2030 hosting from them, it will just now, every game that has been hosted in Morocco in 2030, everybody is going to wonder, is this what we are going to be subjected to? Is this how it is going to be? Does every country now have to hire a personal bodyguard to protect their towel or to
Mhm.
protect one thing or the other? It is so shameful. Like Morocco, and the fans cannot even excuse themselves because they were supporting it, they were cheering it on, they were laughing at it, they were recording it and laughing. So the fans cannot say they were not part of blah, blah, blah. No, they were cheering it on. It is so shameful. You
Mhm.
know, we even talk about the fact. I remember there was the time that they threw a banana to Stanley Nwabali. You know, so
Mhm.
racial this thing there as well.
In Africa.
In the same, you know, I mean, a lot of the time they don't see themselves as Africans like that. But it's for me, it is just a terrible display. You know, a beautiful nation with, I'm sure, many Moroccans are beautiful, amazing people, but they just projected themselves in a terrible light to the rest of Africa, to the entire world. This is a final that everybody was supporting Senegal. Everybody was supporting. Only Moroccans that were supporting Morocco. It's a shame. It's a shame. They should all be embarrassed. You know, I know that they wouldn't do it, but they should honestly release a statement just apologizing for all the misconduct and everything that happened because we cannot have this. You know, I know that some people say, "Hey, it's Africa, we do all sorts of things in Africa," but no, it is never this petty. It's never this low. And this is 2026. If we don't want to grow, if the most developed, if not one of the most developed nations in the continent, is still acting like this, what should we now tell Uganda when they host the next one? Ah, you know, it is terrible, terrible, terrible,
Mhm.
terrible.
Mhm.
And it just marred what was supposed to be a good tournament, what was such an enjoyable tournament. You know, the whole antics with Morocco, the final, everything, it just scattered everything and blew it up. And now all the world is talking about the AFCON final, not because of the great game that we watched, not because of the great goal that was scored by Pap Gay, but because of the controversy, because of the, I didn't show the video, but obviously after the penalty incident, some Senegalese fans were also fighting with the security in the stadium, things like that. Just a terrible, terrible, terrible representation of African football. And I really hope that even if CAF cannot punish them, at least they can speak to them and call them out on it. And you know, um, I know that Patrice Motsepe and CAF would always distance themselves from all these things, but terrible, 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 terrible. Okay, I have some other comments that I need to take very quickly. Shout out to everyone that's sending in super chats with their comments. Much appreciated, of course. Adedamola says, I don't really blame Morocco. I blame CAF and FIFA for creating a monster out of Morocco. It is the audacity for me. I can't really blame CAF because look, Morocco, whether we like it or not, they are helping us. In terms of agreeing to host these tournaments, they are the quickest ones that you can call on short notice that can get things in order quickly. So yeah, so did they create a monster? Sort of. You give them so much power, so much rep, so much belief in themselves, but you can't really blame them. Look at this 2027 now. Everybody believes that the East African countries are not going to be ready. If they're not ready and they need to call somebody quickly, can you call Nigeria and say you should host tournaments on 1 year's notice? Even 4 years self is not enough. 10 years self we probably cannot host. So obviously, if the East African countries are not ready, who are they going to go and call? Morocco. They are the ones that have all the facilities. They have the infrastructure. They are organized enough to sharp, sharp, sharp set things up, and make it happen. So yes, we've created a monster, but the monster has only been created because of ourselves and because of how behind a lot of the countries are. So I don't really blame CAF. It's just the Moroccans with their antics that were unnecessary. I don't really blame CAF. What can they do? Would they just say they're not going to host the tournament again because only Morocco is ready? People are, even the WAFCON now is being played in Morocco again this year. People are complaining that why would one country host three WAFCONs in a row? Who else will host it? Who else can host it? Who else is ready to host it? And the Morocco volunteers themselves. Will CAF say no? So, I don't blame CAF. Honestly, I don't blame CAF. It is what it is. If there were multiple countries that were ready, I'm sure they wouldn't give it to them all the time. So, like, want to say something?
No, and the issue is that also, the seriousness of other countries too, because Morocco is like the favorite towards all the destination. They are always open for visitors to actually what's coming. South Africa was given the under 20 World Cup to under 20 AFCON to host. South Africa proposed secondary school pages for under 20. So CAF said no. They gave it to Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast put that in last minute because they qualified for. I think so. Some of these countries are not really serious to host it. So Morocco is ready because it's the infrastructure. Morocco, and the issue is that all these things. Morocco can get away with it. Morocco will put in a bad accommodation. They will just do everything the way they like, but because they are rescuing CAF will not say anything.
That's it. So that's it. It's the same way FIFA cannot talk to Qatar or to Saudi, those that are putting in the money.
Those that are putting money, they cannot say anything. They cannot say anything to them.
Why? That's the world that we live in. Money makes the world go round, though. Anybody when they drop the mullah, that the person gets power.
Can you see? They ask the Prince of Morocco to present the trophy to.
It just put one hand and touch it to say he's not giving it to them. So honestly, I don't know.
This type of desperation is bad. They have been out against Tanzania.
But I see that I can't believe that. Yourself, if I give you $1 million every year, $1 million, I'm just giving you every year. You will not come and tell me, AyoT, I don't like what you did. Well, the guy, no money for you this year. Be going. Yourself, you will keep quiet now.
I like the whole thing I want.
No, it just made for a better story.
So the final was not really.
Yeah. Okay, another comment here from Charles. It says, when other countries don't want to invest in football infrastructure, i.e. Nigeria and Ghana, I am happy that Legja insulted Guso. He needs it. Don't worry. Ghana
is not the one. It's not at fault.
Do we know what happened that caused the altercation?
No, I think he complained about the referee. Yeah, the Ghanaian guy about the referee. Nobody can tell me that they did not. The referee did not do something. AyoT, all these things. It's like it's like you want to do. Sorry for that digression. You want to vote, and in your strong area, you went to go and do voters. There was voter apathy, like you went to go and suppress voting. Indirectly, you didn't influence the election, but you go and tell people that if you come out to vote, I will beat you up today. You were telling them, but indirectly, you didn't really influence it. But indirectly, you don't do it. The calls he made, go and watch that game again. You realize that these are the calls that could trigger something. See, Nigeria just need one moment. Then you control the game, but you frustrate them throughout. So I think that one really annoyed Guso. No, $10 million has taken down. $10 million. Why won't you be upset? $10 million has taken.
Let me quickly just take this comment from a member of the channel, Victor Cobham. So he says CAF is complicit in all of this. How can they sanction the Senegalese coach and yet do nothing about our antics and the Moroccan boys and officials? The hypocrisy things. So here's the thing. I understand where you're coming from, but again, if you run an organization, there's certain things that you can or cannot say publicly. Now, the Senegalese coach, with FIFA, with any of the footballing bodies, the number one thing that they want to do at all times is to protect the integrity of the game. Do not put the game in any kind of disrepute. What Pap Chow told the Senegalese team to do was essentially saying, look, these guys are cheating. We're not playing again. It's a bad look for the sports. It's a bad look for CAF. It's a bad look for Africa, for football. So that is the strongest thing that CAF is going to come out and sanction. Realistically, that is what they are going to come out and sanction. I'm sure CAF have also seen the antics with the towels. But those things are not things that, quote unquote, affected the football, affected the way the game went. Yes, I know, like you say, it has an influence if they took the goalkeeper's towel and things like that, but did not directly influence it. And again, these were by locally accredited people, volunteers, because you know that they use volunteers for all these things. Obviously, they are Moroccan volunteers, but ball boys, stewards, these are people that volunteered in the competition. They are not Moroccan officials. If it was Moroccan FA officials, then I'm sure that they will sanction them as well. But you cannot, it's like Even World Cup now is coming up. World Cup, they're hiring volunteers. Now imagine they happen to put me as a Nigerian in one of Nigeria's Nigeria's not playing. Okay, let's say one of Canada's games now, and then me and now say, okay, well, because I live in Canada, you know what? I'm going to help Canada out. Would they now go and sanction Canada for my for my decision? Yes, I know this Moroccan one was more organized, but CAF cannot directly sanction Morocco for that. However, the one that was done by a Senegalese official in the coach is easy for them to sanction. And again, it puts the game in disrepute because you're implying that they are cheating and it kills or it affects the integrity of the game. So while I understand people wanting them to call it out, maybe they will eventually, maybe they wouldn't. They are surely going to sanction the coach, and they will have to hit him with a heavy sanction because they do not want it to be something that anybody would try again in the future, regardless of what is happening. This is not, this is not the first game in football. Realistically, where you say, what on earth is the referee doing? Chelsea Barca is one of the games that comes to my mind in that Champions League semi-final. Chelsea players too could have walked off the field. It's just not the way that anybody, when I say body, I mean the footballing body. It's not just the way that anybody believes that those situations should be handled. Yes, I know you cannot take the game back, so it's not as if Senegal can finish playing the match. Then if they complain tomorrow, they will say, "I come back and play the final again." But CAF would surely be strict with something like that Paptel did. So I understand where Victor Cobham is coming from, but again, I understand CAF.
So what about how will you place the issue of clubs like walking off the pitch when there's a racial abuse?
Racial abuse is different because the rules allow for it.
Okay.
The rules have been updated to allow for it. I think the rule now is that maybe the first time the referee can give a warning, and if the warning is not adhered to, then they suspend the game. The rules allow for it. It's the same thing with fan violence. If fans throwing things on the field, I think it's like 2 warnings, and then if it happens again, the players can say and the referee can say, you know what, we're halting the game. Everybody go back to the locker room. But there is no rule that says if you feel like the referee is favoring your position, because at the end of the day, look, all this thing is perspective. Some people think the Senegalese goal was rightly disallowed, and the penalty, even if you said it was a penalty, soft, but you said it was a penalty. So it's all perspective. Because my perspective differs from your own, does it mean that I would now stop the biggest event in African football?
No.
That's how CAF is.
There's also a news, but I know I want to bring some people on quickly because we're at fun time.
No, go on. What's the news? Go on quickly. Just very quickly.
That Morocco might even consider joining Asia. Yeah. is it that Australia left Oceania to go and be playing Asia. So that they can join Asia if this thing actually was because they believe that there is pure injustice. That it was because of that delay. What they put pressure on the referee, the pressure on Brahim Diaz, it led to that miss, and argument has been said that it's that 12 minutes delay that led to that. So and shout out to Claude Leroy, I'm just saying it. Shout out to Claude Leroy, veteran, African manager, French guy. He's been in the content for a very long time. He's supposed to Sadio to come back to the pitch. So if Morocco wants to go out to Asia, they should go. This water is too much. They should go and be playing with Qatar and they should go and be playing the Oceania Asian Cup. If it's like that.
Let me just quickly reply. Okay. So there's 2 comments that I want to just reply before I bring people on quickly. So talk about that says Moroccan officials were complicit because we saw them in suits. Again, those guys in suits are not Moroccan FA officials. They are people that were hired by the local organizing committee to run the match. They are not Moroccan FA officials. So that's the difference. And Victor Cobham says if they can find FAs for crowd misdemeanors and abuse, how is this different? That's a good point. But again, a lot of the time when you are fined for crowd misdemeanors, it's not as if you are fined for the crowd action itself. You are fined for the inability to control the crowd. Because at the end of the day, the host country, if it's a qualifying match or a friendly, you are in charge of security, you are in charge of making sure that everything goes well. Believe me, if those Senegalese people that were trying to rush the field, if they had rushed the field, and the game scattered because of that, Morocco will surely have been fined for their inability to control the crowd. But if you saw, the security stopped them from rushing the field. So it's not as if, a club doesn't get fined because somebody in the crowd called another player a monkey, for example. But if you are unable to stop people from rushing to the field and maybe coming to slap a player, then you will get fined for your inability to secure properly. So that's kind of like the difference. But yeah, let's not argue that too much. Opinions will surely differ on things like this. The link has been posted, so if you want to call in, click the link now, and we'll bring you on. Just make sure that you have your camera on, make sure that you're in frame. Of course, make sure that you're clothed, and we'll bring you on. We're already well over time. We'll take that very, very quickly. I see Tayo, so let me bring Tayo on. Thank you for joining me.
Hello. Thank you. Good evening. Or good morning, wherever you are. Thank you for this opportunity. A lot you guys have said. I'll just comment on the AFCON.
Okay.
I think I agree with Smith Layi. I've watched that penalty over and over. The reaction does not tally. Something is not adding up. I also believe so. The reaction, you cannot catch a penalty. It's like a lifesaver. Something that you have given up on, and you suddenly catch it, and that's your reaction. Or look at the reaction of the Senegalese players. Something is not adding up, I beg. But nobody will tell us. It is just going to be in the realms of conjecture. Yesterday's game was a total disgrace and a misrepresentation of what Africa is. It's rather unfortunate. Morocco, they are a good host, but they lack the spirit of sportsmanship. Yes, now, Nigeria lost in the finals in 2000. So did our own president, or I've forgotten exactly who represented the government on that day, because I think that time it was Obasanjo that should be president. I don't know whether it was the one that was at the stadium or he sent somebody. And just imagine that the person refused to hand over the cup to Cameroon on that day, because it was in the glare eyes of the world, to the extent that Mosepe and Infantino had to even try to walk him, like pacifying him towards the players. Oh yeah, now give the cup to them. He refused to just put hand on it. And if the head of the country, the leadership is behaving like that, do you understand? It will run down. You understand? It will run down on the others, on the followers. And that is what we are seeing. The desperation to win is just too much. It's just too much. And it is the same desperation that has made them to be. You cannot tell me that those young boys, the ball boys, don't have the blessing of the leadership of the FA to what they are doing. You cannot tell me that, especially as far it happened against us. Nwabali changed his stowaway how many times? It has happened in one match, and after that match, it was in the social media that it happened. If they don't have the blessing, if those boys don't have the blessing of the leadership of the FA, it will not happen again in the final. And to make it obvious that it is intentional, is that when the vice or second keeper of Senegal came to stand there with the team, look at the way they were fighting him. As if they have told them from somewhere that they are winning or scoring depends on that towel not being there.
Saibari.
Abba, it's shameful. And please don't excuse Hakimi. So somebody will tell me to throw a towel or whatever it is beside the goalpost, but not on the field. You understand? After the line, and I'm throwing it to them. How did the person say? Well, does it belong to the person? And you say maybe they told Hakimi, okay, let me bring that in. Is that everything? You that is playing on the field, is that your focus? He knows about it. He knows about it. So don't excuse him, because there's a tendency for us to want to excuse him. A big man like this that should know better, those kind of things. But my brother, our culture or our tradition, where we come from, no matter how far you've gone, no matter your education, sometimes some of them still stick to us. Religion and culture, they are strong. And I feel that is what I played out with Hakimi there. So he's also complicit. But the one that vexed me most is the gangsterism. I could not believe it. Look at the moment that penalty was called. Look at the way the Senegalese fans, I saw that video. Those guys were ready to, in fact, they were ready to hit somebody with a chair.
They were hitting some of the stewards, yeah.
It was a Royal Rumble. That is a fiasco.
Rumble.
Yeah, and it's so unfortunate, for that to be happening in a beautiful game of football. It just mad everything. I think the leadership of CAF also needs to look at the way forward. They can't be running to, do you really blame Morocco? You don't blame Morocco. When you create a monster, like they say they have created a monster, or when you over rely on somebody, I want to eat today, but my wife did not cook for me. You go and meet another, please now. Okay, they'll give you food the first day, they'll smile. Second day, they'll smile. The third day, they'll tell you to wash your plate. The fourth day, they'll say, bring your plate as you are coming. Why didn't you bring your plate? They'll be insulting you, and the insult is usually a gradual thing. It's not going to be straight, and there have been signs before now, but I think it has now reached a pinnacle. That's why we are seeing it. Okay, so CAF also needs to look at how they are administering football. Unfortunately, poverty, or let me put it that way, and poor infrastructure, sporting infrastructure, stadium and everything, is not allowing it go around. I'm just hoping that those people that came to pose and collected the flag are not just collecting it for rhetorics. They are going back home to make sure that they're able to host Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya in another 18 months. I really hope that we will not be talking about looking for somebody to help us. Now, look at Morocco.
I have to already.
Okay, yeah. Sorry. Look at Morocco. Morocco has run now to first call police. They have the ones that have misbehaved, are the ones that have quickly run to call police, reporting Senegal, reporting everybody. What the coach has done is not good, but there's a Yoruba saying that we're laughing wo. It's madness. Sometimes you used to cure madness. That's exactly what that referee or that coach has done. Because to be frank, if they did not work out, we would have, if, for example, now, let's say a Nigerian team, that thing happens to us, we'll just rake small, 30 seconds, we will calm down, they will calm us down. They will play the penalty, they will score, and it will be on record today that Morocco is the champion of Africa. However controversial it is, that would have been the story. But they have to fight, and maybe that's how they know how to fight. Maybe the coach will get a little ban, or they will fine him, because I know that they must look for scapegoats when things like this happen. But if you ask him, he may tell you he doesn't have much regrets. What he has posted on social media is just to save face, to say, okay, sorry, but he has achieved his aim. His team has won. He's on record. And they can't take away the AFCON from them. No matter how it is. They can't take away the AFCON from them. Thank you very much for having me. Let me give room for the others to. Guys, keep it up. I promise I'll subscribe to your channel now. No, I've subscribed. I think I would join.
Become a member. Yes, join.
Become a member. Yeah, I think I'll become a member now. Right. I think it's a vibrant one. Thank you very much. God bless. And well done, guys. Yeah, bye.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Tyre. Like something that I forgot to talk about before there's two more people that I'll bring on our wrap up for today. But after the final, so the Super Eagles were not present to receive their bronze medal. Somebody had asked us to talk about this, and I wrote it down, but I forgot to mention it. So, I'll give my opinion very quickly. I thought it was a bit shameful, to be honest. Look, I know that we did not win gold. I know that it's bronze. But again, this just goes back to us catering and bending our backs towards the direction that the Europeans and the European clubs want us to bend our back towards. Shout out to Akko Adams. Went back, scored 2 goals. If he was there to receive his bronze medal, he probably would not have played today. And he probably would not have scored the 2 goals to help them get the draw that he got today. But I just feel like in any tournament, we know this. The bronze medal winner is present at the final to receive their medal. And the fact that Nigeria was not there, I thought was quite shameful. Everybody, you could see them right after the game. They are just breezing through the press area, just rushing to catch their flights and things like that. And I know it's because of pressure from their clubs. Oh, come back. But come on now. Like, if they had won, would you have forced them to come back that early? No, they'll probably even be going to Nigeria now to go and do parade and everything. So for me, if the club cannot just allow you one extra day to receive your medal and then come back, I feel like it's sad that we are so tied to these clubs that the players have no say, and CAF cannot even stop them and say they must be present. But I don't know, how do you feel about it?
When was that time we won bronze?
2019.
When did they give us?
Then we collected it on the field, no?
Mm-hmm. Was it on the field?
What do you say?
Was on the field, is not?
Yeah, it was on the field, yes.
This time around, they asked the team to travel to Rabat from Casablanca again to come and collect the bronze medal. AyoT is bad organization. Why can't the game be in Rabat? You see, the same thing. I was in the hotel. They asked them to go to first. See, all this in Morocco will just make life so difficult for people. That's what they did. It's practically impossible. It's practically impossible for most of these players.
It's not impossible.
Take bus again.
Maybe inconvenient, not impossible.
Yeah, no, I'm not okay. Inconvenient because these guys are breadwinners. You want to put them to that long journey on the balls and season to so go and get bronze medal. And for me, I think this AFCON was a failure. In terms of logistics, everything, I can tell you're officiating. I don't know what I can pick. Maybe what I can pick is just that, like we enjoy Super Eagles football.
I mean, honestly, I hear what you're saying. Okay, it wasn't presented at the final. It was presented. South Africa was present at the last final. So for me, I understand it. Like, yes, it would be best case scenario that is given to them immediately after. But I don't see any problem with asking them to come to the final, because the final is where they give all the tournament awards, is where they give so I personally don't see an issue.
Where does Africa play?
World Cup is the bronze medal after the third place or the final.
It's just before the final.
So for me, I don't see an issue with it. I understand that traveling is not convenient, but look, it happens, man. Like, you can travel 1.5 hours.
You play when you just finish. You play in Ivory Coast, Abidjan, and the final is in Abidjan. It's not. It's 16. You now say, okay, we should go and take another 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
It's inconvenient, but it is not impossible. Milayi, if somebody calls you now and says, Milayi, I have £1 million for you, but you need to enter train for 5 hours, you enter the 5-hour train.
If it's £1 million of insult, I will not go.
It's £1 million of insult. See, but it's just because it's bronze. That's why they probably do not feel like, okay, we have to.
I don't know, why can't they give them? So this is also about planning.
No, I understand what you're saying. Don't get me wrong. But for me, I say, even if the logistics are not conducive, the players should make themselves available. Like, it's the closing ceremony of the tournament. I personally think the players should make themselves available, because the only reason why you are rushing back is to go back to your club so that you can resume office and do what you need to do for them, which I think your club can wait an extra day. I honestly don't feel like it is ideal for them not to be present. I don't feel like it is ideal for them not to be present. South Africa were there at the last third place match. Was the third place match and the final in the same city? I'm not sure. But for me, I just think whatever the case.
Did they give them bronze that day?
No, they gave them after the final or on the day of the final. So I personally,
I don't know. I think we're just awarding the best goalkeeper to this boy, Ronnie Williams. I would
see,
object.
but even if for me again, whether it's award, whether it's the medal, I think they should be there. I think they should.
Yeah, he was playing the
They should
Abidjan.
be there.
You see,
For me, I just think they should be there. Having to travel an extra 2 hours to receive your bronze medal, like after that, you will go home. Like
if it's me, I will not go.
I know, yeah, I don't believe. I think
if it's me, I will not go.
I think it's just because again, CAF supposed to mandate them to be there. I think it's a bad look. I honestly think it is a bad look.
Out of the stadium in Rabat, they cannot know where to play the third place game. That's what
I personally just think it is a bad look, and like they should have been there to receive their medals. You know, like take the pictures, everything. Let's see the bronze medal team. Like I know no Nigerian player won any award, but fine. Like I still think that it was a bad look. So if Osimhen was going to be the highest goal scorer, he would not have been there to receive the golden boot. Like all this, for me, like you don't have to rush to your club. Your club can give you one extra day to come
No,
back.
he went to Perry? Is it Perry? Yeah.
Was that video real? I thought it was an old video.
No, he said that he just coming from AFCON. So if he's just coming from AFCON, that means that said it was a video that said he's coming from AFCON.
No. Everybody is talking like this now because we did it. Look, I personally think they should have been there. You might disagree with me, but again, could they have given them the medals there and then? Yes. Did they? No. Okay, the fact that they didn't does not mean that they should not be present to collect it eventually. That's what I'm saying. Like, obviously, it's not the most ideal situation, but still, this is not the first tournament in the world that they will ask you to come back for your bronze medal. This is not the first tournament or for your award. It happens. Let's not make it sound as this is some new thing that can
be on your own side slightly, which I don't agree with you. It's supposed to be just he came to collect his bronze now. He didn't go as a team. I was
exactly. He did not go back to his club. He was waiting.
No, he came from his club.
Oh, he came back from his club.
Yeah.
See, so for me, it's just like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
See, I just believe that in terms of the way the whole thing was arranged, I just think that they did not do this thing well.
Somebody is saying clubs have matches to play. Again, that's what I'm saying. We're catering to the European clubs. They have matches to play, so we're catering to them. But I'm saying I don't think that we should cater to them. That's what I'm really saying. I don't think we should cater to them. If that's the case, then why are we complaining about AFCON moving to every 4 years? Is it not to cater to the Europeans as well? Okay, so because one is collecting medal, one is changing the whole tournament, you think that one is. But for me, I just think it is the way it is. The players should have been present. It's not a good look that the bronze medalists did not receive their awards. This is not the first tournament that we would see that they will ask the bronze medalists to travel to come and receive the award. It happens. Olympics, sometimes they will give the award, the medal immediately after.
Bronze is big in the Olympics. So
sometimes they will ask you to come back the next day to come and collect your medal. We usually are not coming to collect your medal.
Same city.
Yes, let's not talk as if this travel is some. They are not traveling from Canada to Nigeria.
Go and travel with bus in Morocco, and you know that
they can fly if they need to fly. They can fly.
They don't give them flights. It's a bus.
They can
fly. They went to bus through from Fes to Rabat. Why can't it fly then?
Maybe I don't know about the logistics. What I'm just saying is that I think they should have been there.
You see, there's some things that you don't go as see. It's the calf that shot the foot, and they had a very bad AFCON.
Okay, let me quickly take comments. Sports Guardian says, I beg to differ on the medal. Why would they have them come from Casablanca to Rabat just to pick up medal? Should have been in Casablanca. Again, I like the way we are making it sound like just to pick up medal as if it's just a throwaway thing. Again, because in our bronze, we know they respect the bronze, but the way we are saying just to pick up medals as if it is not something that matters. But I mean, it is what it is. He said the third place was played in Abidjan, so it made sense to collect the third place for the final for SA. Again, I'm not defending the logistics. I'm just saying the bronze medal winning team should be there to collect their bronze medal. Simple as that. Now I talk with that. But yes, let me quickly bring on last two so that we can wrap up this evening. We don't talk too much.
Yeah.
All right. Who should I bring first? Okay, let me bring Chion.
I don't confuse you now.
Yes, very quickly, Chion.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes,
You don't want me to sleep, Abby. You don't want them to sleep, Abby. You don't want to sleep.
you see, you're using your time to complain. I just talk. Let's go quickly.
Okay. First of all, I think our players and we have do service to European football too much. That's why our player will not confident to continue to continue their medal. It's not good at all. As for the officials on the final, I'm happy that Morocco lost. Smith Layi, answer the question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Any update on FIFA and Nigeria issue and Congo issue? Any update, man?
No.
Any update on the issue?
If there's any update, I'm going to update you.
Okay. Finally, before I go, please, there should be NFF to please keep share. That's the random for me. They should keep share. That's the random for me. I'll be happy. Stay blessed. See you next week. Good
All
morning.
right. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay, and then we'll wrap up very quickly with Uche. Uche, welcome.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, so there's this adage that says he that plays the piper determines the tune, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with the players. Who pays their bills? Who ensures that when they get injured, they are taken care of? Who has their insurance? It's the European team, so they definitely suck up to whenever they tell them to come up, they'll come. So it's not we can't do anything about it. What CAF is supposed to do is ensure that they also make it accommodating for the players to get their medals. If they know that the journey is going to be far, the logistic is going to be crazy, then they ensure that they get the medal a day before that same day. So that's that. And I think it's time for the various FAs start pushing for Motsepe to either drop or do something better in regards to the officiating. Because this problem, what happened in the final has been coming. So it's just been among the countries, everyone has been discussing that, you're making it easy for Morocco. You keep getting the wrong call. Like the game against Mali, where Amrabat handled the Malian player, the guy that wears jersey number 8. That was a penalty. They didn't give it.
He stamped on his foot.
So VAR did not call that. So that already starts sending out shockwaves to the tournament. Like, this is what you did. Then the one that happened against Tanzania, like if that was a Moroccan player, that's a penalty. Didn't you see what they did? Their own penalty. Their own penalty was very soft. Then they did it against Morocco, Bremo. That was a penalty. They didn't blow it. So that was bound to happen. That what happened in the final was bound to happen. Because Senegal was not going to just walk down and you just use them after the hard work they put into ensuring that they get to the final. Then you give a soft penalty. Then you cancel their goal. So it was bound to happen. So what should be done is they need to take a look at the officiating and then put regulations. If you are hosting the AFCON, there's no guarantee that you're going to win it. If you don't want to host it, cool. We'll give it to another person. Then we'll grow up from there. But because you're hosting shouldn't be a reason why you should win the AFCON. Nigeria hosted in 2000. We did not win it. And we got cheated of it. So we got cheated, but we still did not cry. We still did not make noise or make a fuss. So Morocco should just lick their wounds, go back and try. They're a good team. I wonder why they want to the way they were behaving was like they must win it. And what they did is actually not good. Like, why would you throw banana to a goalkeeper? Why would you take his towel? Why would you tamper with as in what about if what's his name? I've forgotten the Senegalese goalkeeper. What if he had injured?
When they were dragging him like that.
When they were dragging him and Mendy gets injured and he's supposed to be the one replacing him, what would they have done? That's actually encroaching into play. So we can't take that as an excuse. And I feel like there should be a 360 review into it. And what's his name? Because Musepe is not right now. He's going to do whatever Morocco tells him to do. I think it's time for him to leave. Another person comes in so that person
Due to
can.
the way he insulted the Osasu.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it was insulting per se.
No, it was. It was.
No,
It
it
was.
was it
It
was
was very
you don't talk to people like that.
You don't talk to people like that. Yeah. Even though Osasu has his own.
Everything that he said was factual.
But Osasu, like I mean, I don't know. Let's not do that. I didn't.
Osasu was questioning what he was doing. They said there was going like when he asked him about the 200 million stuff from the tournament they did, and at the end of the day, the team wasn't.
Yeah, he said shut up. Yeah.
Yeah, I told you shut up. Like
the reason why he was, I mean, I agree he was rude, but I feel like it's because obviously you're already coming for me. I'm trying to answer. You are now interrupting me to add more to it. So he kind of was like, guy, like, shut up and let me answer. I agree it was rude. Don't get me wrong.
But journalists have been complaining that Musepe has not been forthcoming. Like you want to ask him question, he's like keeping everybody quiet and just deciding what he wants to do. So the opportunity came for them to ask him questions. They'll definitely ask him all the questions they've been.
No, nothing wrong with the question. What I'm saying is just when he's answering and then you are interrupting him to like add more to what you're already attacking him for. That's when it was unprofessional. You shouldn't tell us a journalist to shut up. But at the end of the day, Naima being him be safe. So when he feels attacked, he just had a natural like human reaction. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm sure even him will look at it and say, I should conduct myself better. You know, obviously people are going to ask you tough questions. If it was just that he felt frustrated by what seemed to him like an attack from a journalist. But yeah, just finish quickly so that we can wrap up.
Yeah. Then what's the name? In regards to the ranking, the reason why we went that high was because of the style of football we played.
It's not the style now. It's the
result. The win, but like the one we won in 2023. Did we get this high?
In 2013, you mean?
2023.
Oh, 2023. I mean, the way the point system works now is the win plus the result. When you win 4-0, you know, it's
for 4 wins, right? Or 5.
And you're scoring goals, you know, you're not considering that as many. It's everything adds up.
That's true. So nice work from Eric Chell. From what I gathered, he's still working with the contract that's going to end in January, right? Or February next year. So from what I saw, Osasu posted, it was like there's still a contract. He has a 2-year contract that started in 2025 to end in 2027. So he says when you get to 6 months left, then they can discuss about extension. So hopefully maybe we eventually go to the World Cup, even though it's neither here nor there. With the hope, but it's the hope that kills. So let's just see what's going to happen.
Let's see what happens. Who knows? Because me, as much as I think we're being shameful, look, if they put us there,
would they have you? So where could they see? Anyway, that's it. By the way.
All right. Thank you very much, Uche. I appreciate you joining us always. Alrighty. Thank you very much. And that's where we're going to end tonight's program or this morning's program, depending on where you are in the world. It's been a pleasure. Thank you guys for joining us on our first episode.
Inaugural.
This is first of 2020. Yeah. First of 2026 after the AFCON 2025. We'll be here, you know, by the grace of God every Monday. Try not to skip any Monday. Next week, I'm not going to be in my usual spot. I'm traveling, but I'll make sure that we still have the podcast next week. So I'll travel with my camera and my equipment, but my space might not be as, you know, as nice as it is. So we'll not see Redika on the wall, but I'll make sure that we still have the show next week and we'll try to keep it up. Like I mentioned, guys, please join the channel as a member. You know, we're looking for more members. We're tripling down on our membership content this 2026 with exclusive videos for members. Members get early access to videos that we drop and giveaways, you know, contests, priority comments. We want you to direct our content as well. So much that we're planning to do in 2026. So, yes, I hope that you guys find reason to join the channel as a member, and I'm sure that you'll be happy with it. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for engaging with us. Thank you for watching. This has been the Naija FC podcast. My name is AyoT. My co-host is
Smith Layi. Thank you.
We'll see you guys next
Yes.
week. Bye-bye.